Okay, everyone, share the video, share, and let have a conversation. Thank you, Legbeck. Thank you, Maria Kuch. Hello, how are you doing? And your family. I hope you guys are, coping well at this critical time. Please share if you like the topic. This is all about having a conversation. There is no there is no competition, but we're trying to find out here, are we realistic or we are in cloud of another trouble? That's all. Please, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for sharing. Share the video. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sharing the video. Share. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Share the video. Please, for the sake of control, if you want to join the show, let me know ahead. I'm not going to share the link right now. I know it always come crazy when that happens, but I promise I will share the link. Thank you for sharing the video. Please keep sharing if you like the topic, or if you don't like the topic, just share as well. Okay. Let me adjust my chair here. I don't know what's happening. Where I put my pins. Uh-oh. I gotta take that song away before I get in trouble. But anyway, it's just a song. I don't think it represents anything at all. Hey, but I gotta stay away from it for now. I know there will be people that are actually thrilled or happy to hear that song, but I gotta keep away. I gotta stay away from this song, guys. Okay. Hello, brother Madid. I don't know what that doesn't sound my end, but anyway. Hello, Malia. How you doing, Yakui? Okay. Let me do this. Copy the clipboard. And oops. What did I do? Oh, nope. Hello, brother David can get. You gotta come in earlier, otherwise, last week I know there was up and down, and absolutely, Shadrach. This is really a hot topic. It should be exactly a hot topic for sure. It is. John, I don't want to play that song. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to be to be a scapegoat of causing a problem, especially in terms of peace. So I gotta stay away from the song. I love it though. Brother Bulmadid, absolutely. You are highly welcome. Yeah, I gotta stay away from the topic. Nowadays, let me put this out. The oil is dropping. So there is no money now in South Sudan. Okay. And someone went to find a scapegoat to cause another problem. So I don't want to be a scapegoat for causing another problem for sure. Hang on tight, guys. Come on, David. I thought you read the topic. Okay. Let me do this. Let me take this away for sure. Okay. Ooh. Let me edit this and see. Okay, get cat. That's the topic. I hope you read it. It's on there, and I also here I put it on the screen, so you can read it. That's the topic. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, Jaman, let me know if there is a song you are interested. I don't know. I'm just playing off YouTube. I don't even know which one is coming and which one is not. Okay. Hello, my sister, Miss Merlin. Long time no see. How you doing? I hope you are coping well with the situation. Don't come with Teny State. That's a bad song. Uh, Hello, David. Hang on there. I see you, buddy. Just hang on tight there. Okay, I will play it next if that's your favorite song. I just want to let you guys know if you are a YouTuber and you find it's easy to get live on YouTube, we are also live on YouTube. Just type Lane Lake State Media and we'll be live there as well. All right. No, not at this time. Uh, yes, for those of you who have not read the topic, the question is, are we in another cloud of trouble? And this is the reason. And that's the topic. I put it on the screen. You have it. Awarded Bolmakura, I see you. Hang on tight, buddy. David Bull, I see you gentlemen. Hang on there for a second. Okay. Hang on, guys. Give me 2 minutes, 2 more minutes. Hang on, real time. Could well do Majong Manyok. Hello, Kwarmon. Thank you, Miss Mellon. You are absolutely welcome. But the question, why cooking late? I don't want to know, but that's okay. My bad. Okay, few seconds. 1 more minute. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lake State Media. I'm your host, Peter Kenny. My colleague, Bol Makur, is here. First of all, I want to say thank you for tuning in. But couple things. Any music that we play here, we don't have a copyright. If you are an artist and you had your songs has been played on this show and you don't want us to do it, let us know. We play them throughout. We play them like, with the costly of YouTube. So that's just a head up. And here I always say, please be respectful on your comments and also on your contribution. We are not fighting here. We are just having a pure conversation where we're trying to find amicable solution. If we can talk as a citizen, why not our politician? So this is the channel that we are trying to stay on. And basically, the thing that we have been talking about for the last year up to now is things that are related to peace. How can we maintain the peace as a nation? So where we will have what else come next. Now the topic is on the screen. You have read it. It's a simple topic. Minister of Defense was summoned 2 weeks ago, and it cited the fact that the National Legislative Assembly have expired. Is Minister right? If not, how? So basically, I have IO members are here. Government supporter probably will be here. Other opposition. Let's have a conversation. Without further ado, I'll have Brother Bolmakur in just a second. Um, Hello, awarded. Welcome to Lagos State Media. What happened? Is that our
Yo,
cowboy in South Sudan or cowboy in
no,
Texas?
this
The
is a
real cowboy.
Texan cow. This is a Texan head, man. This is just a Texan head, normal one, just for fun.
Uh,
Just a little Texan head for fun. It's not a cowboy head.
How you doing, buddy? Welcome to Lagos State Media.
I'm doing very well, Peter. I hear you shouting and singing "Your leg state, defend America," but I couldn't see you dancing. You drag your leg like an old man. And your leg state.
Now it's not a time for dancing, man. This is a time for
Uh,
reality. It's not a party time. Listen, I ran today. I can't feel myself. I don't even know why I'm here today. I have 1 month and more than
uh,
2 weeks. So
1 month and more than 2 weeks. What do you mean?
self quarantine.
Self quarantine is real, and people have to remain at home. It's very tough down here. So
Absolutely.
I really thanks people who have listened to the administration and protect people. If you remain at home, it means you care for others. So it's
Absolutely. You
very
protect
important
yourself
that
and also protect others. That's what it is. If you are
you can
told to stay home, you have to. Okay. Bull network is is a little bit shaky.
your voice is breaking.
Let me.
Peter,
Yes.
yo, Peter, go down. Or is it my
Okay. I'll bring Bull back in second. Look like he's having a network problem. What is what's happening?
Hmm? I don't know what happened.
Check your network, please.
the phone and maybe use the computer probably. Okay, let me go to because I'm using.
Okay, I'll bring Ball back in a second. So that's basically the topic because the minister was citing the fact that the parliament has expired. So I don't know how relevant she is, but it is up to all of us, to figure out. And if not, I've before I do that, I want to make sure I invite the representative of IO. And I know the members are here, but I want to make sure. Um,
Peter, do you hear me?
okay.
I think this is better, right?
Yes, much better.
Okay, I use the laptop. I stopped my phone because my phone was the one with the problem.
Yeah, your phone was kind of. So that's the topic right there, and it is up to Genovine to judge. Will all of us will be judged, but hopefully, it is not a situation where you know things are being sugar-coated.
Mm. So you said that Angelina refused to come to National Assembly. That's what I read on the screen.
Yes,
So she just sit in her office and she don't even mind to step to the National Assembly.
yes, she cited the National Assembly doesn't have authority to summon her at this point because it is expired.
Uh, what I can see, every position, if somebody is inexperienced, sometimes because this position is new to her, and if her duties are not laid out properly to her, she might think out of the box. I don't know why she refused to come to National Assembly, because I have not read anything about, her refusing. But as the time goes, she will, I think she will know, her refusal uh, is really very, is raising an eye. So I don't know. I don't have nothing to talk about very much in this topic because I have not read anything. Why I have not, acquainted the story very well. So let the IO call the IO members to come and comment on it, and she just assumed the position. So
Well, their members are here. I know Kenny is on the lobby. He can't wait. I know.
is he on the lobby?
Yeah. So Garket, hold on right there. I see you. And the
I know.
representative.
I know he will politicize it, and he will say that Angelina was right, and all that.
No, don't judge him. Don't judge him before he has. Uh, Changkuoth, the representative, will be here in a few minutes.
Oh, Changkuoth
Not
is coming? Shit,
Changkuoth
we
is
have a
coming
good
in.
argument. Let him come.
Uh, so that's the situation right there. Here, I don't want to push right now. Probably, I don't want to be called, well, Lagos
Sit
State
down
media
before you.
is against IO, but topic is purely
I have my little cousin here. He's putting his TV volume up, so I'm sorry.
so I will not accuse. I would rather not prejudge Kadket.
Mm.
Maybe he might have different opinion about it. He might say minister was wrong because of this and that. And after all, what I want is I want people to at least cite it a clause, okay? Whether it is in the ARCAS document or the interim constitution of South Sudan. If you come here for just a sake of argument because you said it was wrong, she said because she has this, without citing any clause, then that won't be considered a very intellectual argument or a conversation. So hopefully, Chimkwas will come and cite it, and also the Katket and also the other members of the other, maybe the other parties or also the government support. Well, not the government. This thing is very confusing, and also uh, President Kiir said government supported because after all we have one government. There is no Kiir government right now and no Riek Machar government. So on both sides, I want people to side a claw. That way, we just don't crack our mind without having exactly what is the relevant argument here. Because this is what I'm thinking. Let me take it on local government level.
Mm.
What if the members of the local government summons a cabinet member? Are they going to cite it the same thing that you are not you are illegitimate, your time
Mm.
is expired, you have no reason to summon me? So if this is on local level, it is also so this is on national level. So it is also applied to a local level. I mean to a local government. Those are the things I want to hear from people. But without further ado, Karket is here. Well, Karket, I will just call you David, my brother, because I don't want to miscall your name. I don't think would be a good idea to do so. So,
Oh, this is the guy who always said that he's from Lake State. He want to relinquish from. He just want to join Lake State because we have, nice rivers, and this is the guy. I know him. He's one of my friend. I always host. How you doing, Gatkek?
Fine.
You doing all right?
Good.
The best
I'm doing well.
in the IO department.
No, don't misquote me, brother.
Eh?
Don't misquote me, brother.
Okay. I'm not misquoting.
Look. Before we go for political talk, we are the neighbors. We are neighbors.
Right.
Okay. You, the people of Great Irol and West Lake, that is Agar, Sheikh, and Aliab, and Atot. We are all neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very near to you, and also we sometimes interacted in the church.
Yeah.
And yes, even my mom know Dinka language very, very well.
Probably your mom is from our side.
I know is a Nuer, but he learned Dinka language in the church
Okay.
when I was a little boy.
Right.
We used to
You know, actually, last time you talk about
we
migration, I remember.
used to share the cattle camp.
Yeah, I
Yes,
remember. But last
we
time there
share.
is a topic. There is a topic me and you shared last time when I host you. You were actually talking
Yes,
uh, uh, on how Nuer uh, how Nuer land was occupied, but there were somewhere you missed. I was interested to hear from you that uh, the church people and the law people. I mean, the church people actually divided into two. There's a door and there is law. These people are called church. Their migration actually started from where the Nuer are right now, and we migrated and we come this side. That's what I was interested to hear from you. But the way you were narrating the story, you couldn't actually you couldn't actually tell us very well. You said that it is a Nuer land and it is occupied, but I was interested to hear that where we are right now with the Nuer people, it was inhabited by the church people. You know, a lot of areas right now where you guys are were our places, but we walk toward eastern and where we can graze our cows. That's why we came to where there's a lot of lakes and we leave you that side. But you don't believe into that. But
Uh,
anyway, those are not the argument of
okay,
today.
okay. Let us leave that topic. Let us go to the topic
leave,
because we'll drag us somewhere. Let us go to topic.
I
okay,
was always looking for you to come and clear this
One time,
because
one time you host. Okay. Let me tell you this. One time you host a show, a historical show, and then from there we will come and discuss about the settlement of the Jeng and the Western Nuer,
okay,
okay,
especially Nyong and
okay,
Dok
yeah,
and Har.
okay, okay. I'm gonna put the neighborhood, the neighborhood and historical background aside,
Yes,
and
aside.
so
Yeah.
Gatket, the question is simple. Was
Yes.
Minister right? If so, how and why?
Okay. Thank you, Comrade Peter Kent, for having me in your show, and thank also the board of Lake Media for allowing me to this show. Uh, it is good that we discuss the national issues. This is a forum where we can discuss the national issues. Last week I was annoyed, a little bit annoyed, because I want to respond the nonsense that was aired out by the Emmanuel Jawin. But you did not allow me. I don't know why. I
I
don't know
was
you.
trying.
I would have. I want to come and confront him because what he was saying was not true. But let the past go. So let me go to the topic.
Okay,
Uh, well, I can say the minister is right. The minister of defense is right. Look, Peter, the revitalized government of national unity, the revitalized agreement that was signed, stated clearly that a government will be formed. Now, what happened? Only one part of the government is formed. One part, because the government has got three branches: executive, judiciary, and legislative. So what happened? Only executive had been formed. That is the presidency and the cabinet. But the legislatives and the judiciary is not yet formed. Leave alone the security arrangement, which is also a backbone of the agreement. In the agreement, it is stated that the parliament, the South Sudan Legislative Assembly, and the South Sudan Council of the State will be reconstituted. It will be renewed. About 500 MP has to be appointed, in which the government has got about 300 MPs, and IO has got 180 MPs, and the rest. of the other political party. So the parliament will be made up of 550 MPs. So it is there in the agreement. Now, the South Sudan Legislative Assembly, they called Angelina Teny, the Minister of Defense, and tried to sum her for the following. One, the preparedness, how far the Minister of Defense prepared for closing of all the South Sudan borders. Because now it seems that people are just...
Garket.
Yeah.
Let's assume we know the reason she was someone. But why would she refuse? That's the question here. I don't want to know why was she someone.
Okay. Angelina Teny refused because actually, since the formation of the executive of revitalized government of national unity, the so-called South Sudan Legislative Assembly, we was appointed by the President Salva Kiir before the agreement is expired. So this body is not a legitimate body that can sum it up. This is true. This is true. Yes.
Hold on. Is the time expired for the formation of the government of national unity? Is it already expired?
Now why?
No. Is it already expired?
Yeah, the current body, which now, because up to now, the formation of the parliament that I tell you about, 550 are not yet. The government refused to go ahead and appoint the unified South Sudan Legislative Assembly members. So those who are now in the parliament, they are the pure government MPs. You understand? The SPLM-IO members are not yet. They are not there in that parliament.
David, let's be realistic here. So you are telling me, so the cabinet is the only legitimate body in South Sudan. All the other institutions, they are not legitimate, and that's the reason Angelina refused.
Yes, let me tell you this. You know, the President Salva Kiir, when he dissolved the 32 states, those governors of 32 states, they are not called governors, they are called caretakers. What will happen now if the governor, the former governor of Europe, declare himself as a governor?
What about the parliament? Hold on. What about
the degree of the president?
What about the parliament? What do we have? We don't have a parliament.
The parliament that I tell you, these are the pure government and the Salva Kiir. These are the pure government parliaments. It has nothing to do with the SPLM-IO. Because the SOMA members and the SPLM-IO members, they are not yet there in that parliament.
You are driving me nuts.
They are not there in that parliament.
So
they are not there in that parliament. Let us wait until the formation of the South Sudan Legislative Assembly. We will be inclusive, in which the SPLM members will be there, the SOMA, South Sudan Opposition Alliance members will be there, the former detainees members will be there, the other opposition party will be there. But now, the Angelina Teny, she has right, because the borders, the control of the South Sudan borders, since the war in Iraq, all the borders now are open. So the government, how can the government, we actually open the borders for South Sudan, come and somebody who have just came yesterday.
Let me walk you through this. You said that the SPLM-IG delay to form the National Assembly. Is that what you said? But you know that the on your side.
To form the gubernatorial government, the government of the state, the local government, because the government refused to agree for the ratios, in the agreement.
Okay, but you know
27% for the SPLM-IO and 55% for the government, and 10 for former detainees, SPLM former detainees, and 0.8 for other opposition parties.
Can you tell me those details of refusals? I never read about anything that the SPLM and government have refused to form that. Can you tell me?
Yeah, the government, first of all, as I told you, there is a three branch of the government: the judiciary and legislative and executive. What happened? The executive had been formed. That is the presidency, the five by president, and the cabinet. You understand? Right. The South Sudan judiciary is not yet formed. The South Sudan Legislative Assembly and South Sudan Council of the State are not yet formed. So now, those who are now in South Sudan Council of the State and South Sudan Legislative Assembly, they are the pure government MPs. You understand?
Go ahead.
IO is not there. In two houses, IO is not there. G10 are not there. And then also South Sudan opposition alliance are not there. And also other opposition parties are not there.
Godcat, let me put this scenario out. I want you to come to your sense, okay? You said if the other two bodies, the other branch of the government, if they are not formed, they are not illegitimate, and cabinet has nothing to do or cannot listen to them. Let me ask you this question. Let's say there is supposed to be war today in South Sudan. Is it the president that's going to declare it, or does he have to go to the National Assembly right now? And why?
Okay, let me tell you this. In the declaration of the war, the transitional government, transitional constitution that we had from the Sudan was amended in 2011.
No, I'm answering you.
During the amendment, all the powers, let me tell you this, all the powers were given to the President Salva Kiir. For example, if we have external threat, or if we want to go for war with Sudan, or Kenya, or Uganda, President Salva Kiir will not go to the parliament and ask your consultation whether to go for war or not. Salva Kiir alone can go and issue a decree and declare war without the parliament. That is why we, the SPLM-IO, we say, no, all these powers, the powers of the president, government should not be, president should not be given absolute power to go and declare war without the approval from the parliament.
But in many states, the president can declare war when
if we go for war, President Salva Kiir can just issue a decree and then we can go for war.
But in many states, the president can do that. Let me tell you the United States. A president can declare war.
Okay. Brother Bull, give me a chance. I will give you. Let me give you this. First of all, you know the 2015 peace agreement. President Salva Kiir signed it with attached reservation, and the main issue was that President Salva Kiir protests for the country to have two armies in one country. President Salva Kiir said his government need one army. Now the SPLM-IO say, okay, let us go for it. Let us form a unified national army, national security, national police, national president, national wildlife, national fire brigade. All these organized forces, let us unify them. Let us make them inclusive so that they can defend our territorial integrity and a threat.
David.
Okay? But now the government refused. Refused to form a unified national army. Unified national police, security. So what do you want to say here?
But is it not, are the IO now, are they not in a containment for a training so we can form the unified national army? Are they not in containment?
The government refused to send their troop to the containment site.
Yeah, probably
Only the SPLMIO.
those IO militias probably need to go under certain training.
Okay.
We are getting out of.
Let me tell you this.
Okay, hold on.
The government of South Sudan,
Garket.
we have no national army.
Garket.
But we have got a bunch of militias. In the government, there is Belwen,
That's
Dr. Bay,
what you believe.
and Masiang Anyor.
Look.
Okay, Masiang Anyor. How can you integrate me into the rank and file of Masiang Anyor?
Look,
the
that's
militias.
what you believe. Matiang Anyor, listen. Matiang Anyor was a well-trained army. When you remember during Wunto war with Arabs. So Matiang Anyor was trained for that mission. And because of political reason, you tend it to be like was trained to fight Nuer, but that was not true. Matiang Anyor was trained to fight in Iglich or Yidlich. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's called Wunto. That was the reason it was trained. But for a political reason, you change it because it is called Matiang Anyor. You change it as trained to fight against the IO. That was not true. I have disputed that.
Okay. That's I sent the link there, guys. You can have it on both ways.
Do you mean the Masiang Anyor is well training in which the SPLMIO has to be reintegrated into the file of Masiang Anyor?
David.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Benjamin. David.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's out of topic. I don't want to go to something to do with Matiang Anyor, White Army. That's not the topic here. The topic is simple.
And let's talk to Bull, brother. Because it was not me who brought it. It was Bull. Bull, talk to your co-host.
The topic is simple. Why did Minister of Defense refuse not to appear in a parliament? It's simple as that. And I want you guys to cite the clause. And after all, David Karket, you have been beating around the bush. As we are now, everything is stand as a caretaker.
What? The topic was brought by Bull. Bull, say it was Bull, not me. I was on your topic. But now you let Bull to come and jump on my neck, and you expect me to be silent.
Sometimes you can just tell a Bull that's out of topic. We don't want to go there. If you want it to be a topic of the different day, okay. Because if I just had to call your name, Bull and Garke, then I felt like I'm babysitting you, but that's not the case. You just tell him frankly, Bull, that's not the topic of today.
Okay, let us go ahead. Peter, Peter, let us go ahead.
So go ahead, continue. Because I want to hear the facts, because everything you are saying now, it felt like there is a different party here where we have a different government, a IO government and whatever SPLM in a government, separately. But we have one particular government now.
Let me tell you this. Yes, you are right. Now, a partial of the agreement of the government had been formed. As I have mentioned, there are three branches of the government. The so-called government has got three branches: the executive, the judiciary, and legislatives. According to the revitalized government of national unity, all these three branches of the government need to be inclusive. It has to be formed by the warring party who signed an agreement. It is there in the agreement. This parliament need to be reconstituted. About 555 members. So should sit there in the parliament, and this will be the legitimate body formed according to the agreement.
David, we heard that you have repeated many times. So
yes.
Are you telling me now, no matter what happened, there will be at this point, there should be no oversight of executive? Is that what you are telling us here? I will leave that question there. Think about it. And hold on 1 second. Take your time. Think about it. Let me give the other side a chance.
Okay.
Benjamin, you have read the topic. Okay. It's simple. Okay. It's on the screen. Was Minister right? If not, why?
Go ahead.
No. Yeah, thank you. Well, I thought that you will give the other guy a chance to talk. Then I will come behind him.
Yeah,
Bull is a co-host. It's fine.
I'm a
Okay.
co-host, but what I
Oh,
was
okay.
asking Gatkek, because Gatkek, I know you keep telling me about 3 branches of the government. I thank you for teaching me also to know the 3 branches of the government. But you said she refused because legislative and judicial have not been formed, right? Just say yes or no.
Mm.
But
Yes.
the executive body is formed, right?
Yes.
Okay, if
The president is the vice president, and the cabinet had been formed. That is executive.
okay,
But judiciary and legislative are not yet.
okay. What about if the executive someone here, of which
And the state government, local government are not yet.
okay? What about if the executive body someone here which is incorporated, the IO in government and the IG, will she refuse to come?
Look,
So
Because
for
you
us to
said
go to
you
the,
said she did not come
okay,
before.
good. Peter, Ustaz Peter Kenyi, can you allow me to answer Bull? Because now we will answer Bull, and then you say me I'm off the topic.
no.
So do you
Hold
allow
on.
me now to answer him?
Got-
Because you
No,
asked me a question.
you don't have to answer Bull right now.
Okay.
Got cake.
Wait for
Got cake.
the Benjamin.
Got cake. I knew that the forum here or this show will have a hard time trying to convince you because you are a tribal mindset guy that is trying to defend Angelina Teny, and you know Angelina Teny should not refuse to stand up for the parliament. Angelina Teny was there claiming that she proposed, she coined it that she need money to combat coronavirus. So she demanded money to be released for for coronavirus mission. To task force. So what happened when she went there? She was going there. What made me having echo?
Thank you. Benjamin, go ahead.
Oh, okay, yes. So Angelina Teny. Angelina Teny was there in the parliament to convene the parliament to prove the money for coronavirus task force. She was claiming that she need money to be released to the military, and she said that military was not paid since December last year. That was her argument. I don't know where you come up with all this that legislation and judiciary were not formed. You don't know even about the deal being signed in Cuba. You are just floating out of topic. Angelina refusal to stand up. It's a big issue, and you need to answer accurately. If you don't know, then you shouldn't come here and try to debate and try to move people around.
Benjamin,
yes.
This is what I will do. I would rather not focusing on David and David response. I would rather focus on what is actually the legitimate reason. Why is she right? If not, as you believe, she should have appeared in a parliament. You have to let us know exactly as a public. If you try to respond on how on David's response, then that's not going to make it fair enough, and also make people understand what you are trying to tell us. So if she was not right, then let us know exactly why.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry though if I overreach that cake. Sorry for being personal if I really did that. So what happened is the code of conduct. Conduct was violated by Angelina Teny. If Angelina Teny,
Dr. Deng, I mute you intentionally because you are making noise. Echoing. When it is your channel, I will unmute you. Just listen for now.
So Angelina Teny violated the code of conduct. If she knew that he was protesting the formation of the government, she would have not, gone there to ask for what she want to be released for the military. So Angelina Teny, as a hidden agenda, and that's what we all South Sudanese question ourselves, that why the cabinet was formed and the ministerial position are functioning, and then she started all those. You can tell there were two pictures that I watched on Facebook. The way she looked at the face of president and the way she looked at the face of military general in Vilpam. You can tell what is behind, what is coming with this young lady as a leader in South Sudan. She has, this is a question that some supporters who are IO dying hard supporters need to step in, because we already have peace. At this time, Angelina shouldn't be there and then dishonor our system and refuse to stand up. Something is going on with IOs, and I don't think those Angelinas will try to fix the country if the IOs politicians come to behave that way as leaders in the government. It will lead to hunger and it will lead to the chaos, and that will be another issue going on in the country. So my brother, like Galkek here, if you come to debate, then we are questioning you to feed us and give us answers. What is going on with IO? What is going on with all these leaders that are brought in to work for the government? They were there to fix the government. Angelina was there to fix the military as a minister working with Salva Kiir. Now she calls Salva Kiir honorable, or His Excellency President Kiir. If she find the parliament, if she go there, try to pass the agenda to be debate for the money to be released for the coronavirus task force, she went there and refused to stand up. And then now you are twisting it to bring in judiciary not being formed and legislative not being formed. It is out of topic. And then we are now in the middle here asking our question that, there was a mass defection, and then now what is going on? There's a confusion coming from IOs. A lot of confusion. Country is confused under IO. Angelina refusing to stand up mean big thing. And mean that IO has to discipline. It has to discipline all their leaders that they selected to come and work with the South Sudan government. I'm still questioning too that what make Angelina violated the code of conduct or our constitution, our system, even if she's a big leader now, she's holding big position. So thank you. I need answer from Gatkek.
Okay. Anyway, Gatkek will not respond right away. I have another participant as well. We want to hear from Deng. Deng, I think you have another. Hold on.
Peter, can I just answer shortly?
Okay.
And then you
Give me a second.
Dr. Deng.
Dr. Deng, I think you have another window open. If you can close that and make sure you only on the podium. That way it doesn't make a noise. If you have two windows open at the same time, that creates echoing. So I'm going to unmute you, but go ahead, David.
Okay. Thank you for questioning me. For asking question, Brother Benjamin. I will not respond your defamatory language because actually that is the nature of sometimes when people debate. When you fail to swallow a word, you sometimes vomit with your mouth.
Okay.
So I will not respond to you the way you actually labeled me as a tri-minded. I'm not a tri-minded man. I'm nationalist. That is why I always cried about South Sudan. Because South Sudan is for all of us. This country,
you crying because you
whether
always
we have political differences or not, we are united by 6 sectors.
You always have
in
a
South
book.
Sudan.
I never see you crying.
Okay. We are united by 6 factors in South Sudan. One, our South Sudan supremacy of South Sudan and tribal territory integrity. That is a map of South Sudan, geographical map of South Sudan unite us. Second, we are united by our national anthem. Our national anthem unite us. Third, our national flag unite us. Fourth, our currency, the South Sudanese pound, unite us. Fifth, our identity as Africans united us.
No, you design a pound before with William Nguyen.
That is a propaganda. It is business propaganda. Okay, let me.
Okay.
Okay. Six, we are united by our constitution. The constitution of South Sudan will unite us. The coming permanent constitution of South Sudan will unite us. These 6 factors, whether we are different politically, these factors unite us. Let me tell you this. You said Angelina Teny violated the code of conduct. That is not true.
Garket, make sure you make it short. 1 more minute. I have a list.
Okay.
I have a list on the lobby. Emmanuel Join, I see you hang on there for a second. Go ahead.
Okay. Angelina Teny did not violate the code of conduct. And as I tell you, since the formation of revitalized government of national unity, these 2 bodies become dysfunctional. The legislative, the judiciary. This body called South Sudan Legislative Assembly, they refuse to incorporate the agreement in the constitution. So for me, these are the rubber stamp. It is a rubber stamp body. Why you refuse to actually incorporate the peace agreement in the constitution? So this body called South Sudan Legislative Assembly, the government wing, now they refuse to incorporate the peace agreement in the constitution. So how can now, what legitimacy should this body be held to come and some Minister of Defense, Angelina Teny, while even they refuse to incorporate the peace agreement in the constitution? Okay. So that question also goes to government.
Absolutely.
I finished.
Can you repeat your question?
I said the South Sudan, the current dysfunctional body called South Sudan Legislative Assembly, because since the formation of the executive, these 2 branches, they already expired. The South Sudan Legislative Assembly, the South Sudan Council of the State, and judiciaries. All these body, they already expired. But after the reconstitution of these 2 bodies, and then they will become illegitimate. After the formation of them, they become illegitimate. How come this body, they refuse to incorporate the peace agreement into the constitution? Have you read the constitution that they have written? They actually violate, deleted all the provision of the agreement. So this body, it is a rubber stamp. They are a legitimate body. But after the formation of the inclusive South Sudan Legislative Assembly, where there would be 550, 1 MP, include SPLM-IO representative, include the former detainees representative, South Sudan Opposition Alliance representative, and all the opposition. When that body is formed, and then this is where it would be illegitimate. But now they are not.
Okay, Bull, respond, and I will take you 2 gentlemen out, and I will bring you guys next when I need you guys, or if you guys have to respond to someone, so I can give a room to the rest of the participants. So
okay, thank you, Peter.
No problem.
Thank you, Peter.
Go ahead, Benjamin.
Yes, Peter. I mean, Gatkek. First of all, I don't know where you live. You live in Australia, right? Oh, you took him. You took him out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gatkek is waiting anyway. Go ahead.
Yes, Gatkek. I think the reason why the government is delayed now without being formed is because of IO. IO start defecting. They start defecting because of position. They confuse themselves. They can't even have a lease anymore. Those whom maybe Riek Machar was having having a name to nominate them to join the parliament were not even selected. So Riek is the one, IO is the one delaying the government to be formed. It is not a fault of the government. Government is ready all the time. All the government is waiting is just people to be selected from IOs. Up to now, our government is still arguing with the state. State numbers and the position because of IO's confusion. So now, the reason why all these legislators and judiciary are not yet formed is because IO is confusing the country. The government is waiting for their numbers to be selected from IOs and then submitted so that they are swear in and then join the parliament to be members of the parliament. That is the reason now we are waiting. I don't think Gatkek answered why Angelina Teny refused to stand up. Government, all the parliament members who are now, whom Angelina Teny refused to stand up for them, are just waiting for the numbers of IOs who are nominated to be MPs to join them. It's just joining them is what remains. But because delayment has come in, is because of IOs, defecting for positioning, because they become money in IOs and they want all of them to be squeezed in to be government official after they find out that they are too many to be nominated to hold all the position in the government. Then they start defecting because they rebel for position, and that's why the government delayed. Formation. It is not a fault of the government. It is not a fault of the government. I hope you get that. And when anyone asks you about why Angelina Teny refused to stand up before our parliament, you have to come up with an accurate answer. We are still waiting of why Angelina refused to stand up. What I judge based on her characters, the way she stand up to watch the face of the general in front of her, and the way she looked at the face of the president. I thought that this girl, this lady, is coming with mental of Western world. Even as here, we went to Western world school, and if I take our system here, the behavior of this, the practice of this country,
Benjamin, yeah. Let's be realistic. It's not always going to be you are coming with a Western mentality. We are actually trying to instill the Western democracy. So we should practice, but we can take the other side and we say no, this
no, Peter Kent. I believe that there's no system that is better than other system. China becomes superpower under communism. It's just this is a fake ideology whereby they say capitalism and democracy make good government. No, this is why the West are engaging. The third world country with war so that they don't grow.
Okay, I don't want to engage in that topic. That's not the topic now. The topic is simple. Was the minister right? If so why?
For Garkek, these are all constitution, the amendment constitution of the SPLM. I have all of them here. I don't know. He was saying earlier that this doesn't allow Kir can declare war without parliament involvement. That's all made up. He will not even tell us the chapter. But Peter Kang, when I talk about this, we have mental control. If you took the Western culture here and you want to behave like the way West want behave here to your elders over there, here you look at the face of somebody. It means something.
Well, if you everything comes with the face of the change. Okay, you don't just take it. The change comes slowly. Now we are trying to instill democracy. So if we are instilling that democracy allowed actually the culture that we are trying to deny here. But that's not the case. That's not the topic tonight. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
When you said you have a constitution in your hand, but you said the way you behave here in the Western, you cannot take it there to your elders. Those are not called elders no more. You know, you don't call them elders anymore.
Anyway, gentlemen, let leave it aside there. Let me hear the other side.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah,
hear.
I don't want to change. I don't want to change the topic. Thank you.
They are running the government of South Sudan. The one that in the village running Dinka villages are the one called elders.
Yes, but we have our cultural norm. We have our cultural norm. Peter, if you go back to South Sudan now, they say that we have our way, we have our code of conduct in every village, in every tribe.
I was expecting you to be the one actually not even mention that. We need to do away with those elders.
Okay. Okay, guys, we are getting out of topic. Anyway,
okay.
Thank you, Benjamin. Brother Changkuoth, welcome. As a representative of IO, you are officially representing IO. Emmanuel, you went here representing the other opposition, whatever side. I don't know who is representing the government of South Sudan. Dr. David, I don't know which side are you presenting. We are
You need to be a little bit, Emmanuel.
Okay, hold on, guys. But here we are not about what side of the government we are in. We are actually what clause in our constitution or the current whatever artists agreement that we have.
So Emmanuel can come, so the topic can fire up.
Okay. The current government of national unity. What clause is in that the government? I mean, the minister is citing that she is not supposed to be summoned in a parliament. If she is right, how? Which one is it? If not, why? Which clause asks her to actually to be summoned in a parliament? That's the topic tonight. It seems like we are making too much joke. We are joking too much, but we are in reality. The democracy that we are trying to instill in South Sudan, the democracy we are calling for, it looks like we are letting it slip away. So I'm going to do on how people join it. So Denk, go ahead. Welcome to Lake State Media. I don't know whether it is your first time or maybe second time or so. The question is simple. Was the minister right? Or if not, why?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. This is my second time to come to Lake State Media. I'm going straight forward to the topic. The topic is clear right there. To me, the minister is not supposed to refuse or to reject the summit at all, for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, she was the one who requested the same assembly. She refused to come before it. The budget for the military. So you cannot ask someone to give you something, and when somebody said, okay, come, to do this for us, then you say no. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so she has to appear before the NLA. If there is no political motivation, she would have not behaved like that. But because there is a political motivation, that's why she behaved like that. Number two, Artigono or AT Artigono did not abolish the parliament. I heard some people talk about before that the parliament is not working. There is nowhere, anywhere in Artigo talks about that the parliament has to be dissolved. It says the parliament would be expanded. Okay? This means that you add what is new to what is existing. Okay? The parliament is not dissolved. That means the parliament is still existing with its powers. Okay? So that one alone could convince the Minister of Defense. Okay, now at the same time, she is not representing the SPLA IO. She is representing the National Army, even though she has her own party at this particular time. So her job is for the nation, not for SPLA IO. Even if it was nominated by SPLA IO, then she could not serve the two parties at the same times. That must be always a conflict. Okay. And what I have seen right now, she's representing the interests of the IO rather than to go with the interest of the nation. And that is going to create a vacuum. So my simple answer to that, she should not refuse to come before the assembly. Or if she should have chose to do that, they should have not go before the same assembly to request for the finance. So how would the assembly good or on this side and is bad on that side? This is what I call political dead end. That's why I say in South Sudan, we don't have politicians. Whoever make noise, the politician in South Sudan is a dead end. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you, Deng. Changkuoth, you heard from Deng. Angelina went to the parliament asking for the money. When she was summoned the other side to come and explain herself why she need money, she said the parliament is not illegitimate. So which one is which?
Put me down, bring him up, let him answer. Or
No,
give other people the chance, because we are many. Actually, I'm not going to talk because I'm a co-host, but I don't know how you're going to answer it, but let Changkuoth continue. Emmanuel continue, and you might, or Changkuoth can answer them. He's one of the IO diehard.
It's actually it's a representative. He hold the office. So go ahead.
Okay.
Emmanuel and Gabriel Alat, hang on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my turn, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much for the invitation and the making this time available for all of us to come and share our views.
You didn't even thank me. I'm just.
Yeah. Secondly, let me say my thank you to our fellow countrymen who have joined us on the forum. It is a great joy sometimes when we sit here discussing and sharing views that are pertaining our Republic of South Sudan. It signifies an important steps that is telling me and you yourself, guys, that the issues in the country affect us wherever we are today. That's why every time we have a chance like this, we take 4 hours, 8 hours. Sometimes some people goes to 10 hours. It is an important issue, and that is why we always make time available for us to come and listen. Before I go too far, let me just answer a few questions, and then I can hand it over to the next guy so that our discussion can be effective. Your topic is regarding to a letter of rejection that was written by Comrade Angelina Teny, responding to an invitation on the 14th of this month to attend a summoning by the RG TNLA. And when I say yes, no, you were rejected, but it's all good. I remember Peter, you are the host. You are the host, and you must also try your best to be neutral.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you are going to jeopardize the smooth running of your forum.
I will try my best.
Yeah. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I am a co-host too.
Yeah, no problem. I have done it before. So there were 3 co-hosts last week. So this is not new.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me go back to what I was saying. There was a letter written by the first Deputy Speaker for Parliamentary Affairs. And this letter was to someone, Comrade Angelina Teny, the Minister for Defense. Maybe some of you have not read this paper or these letters, and yet some of us would come here and try to talk without even knowing what document we are talking about or what sort of letters we are discussing. So it is sometimes important that you come here and in understanding why we are here. Because when you come here and you only argue to, with me or against somebody based on your own belief and essays, it will not serve the purpose we are here. The reason we are here is because of that letter. And that letter, in response, Comrade Angelina responded with rejection, citing certain articles in the document. Before you can even come here to argue, I would appreciate if you had the opportunity to refer yourself to the cited articles, because by you doing that, you will understand why Comrade Angelina Teny turned down the invitation. Okay? And for all of us to be on the same page, let me just read to you, in brief, the article, Comrade Angelina, or you have already read it?
We all read it. You don't need to read it.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We are
Thank you.
familiar with it. That's why we have.
Okay, thank you. So if we are all familiar, we would agree that as we speak, then the national legislature, the former national legislature, is not dissolved yet. It is not dissolved yet. That make it very hard for any incoming ministries or any incoming parliamentarians to perform their duties, because the former RGTNLA is still effective. They still carry on with their daily duties. Okay, in this reaccess, the document that we are talking about, the document that took all the signatories to Juba, is not yet implemented. Now, according to this document, there is an article that says the transitional national constitution that we used to have should incorporate this document, and this document should be the supreme that we can base our decision making for the next 3 years until when we have a national elections. Now, according to people that can come here to argue, you need to understand the process of peace. According to the current situation, it has gotten rid of everything that you have been knowing, everything that you thought. The former parliamentarians should no longer be there unless they have been re-energized or re-empowered to come back to the parliament. And sorry for my voice, it's very croaky. So according to this peace agreement, the former RGTNLA, which was the former Tigonu of Salva Kiir and Taban Dengaj, is rendered defunct. It should no longer be effective. It should not continue to perform their duties unless they have been, given new powers by their parties. The SPLM-IO, according to the agreement, should bring the 128 and the rest of the other parties as well. This crucial step is not yet, put in place. So when we want to perform duties now, and the ministries to discharge their duties, when they go back and refer to this document, which should be the supreme for now,
thank you,
we have problems. How are we having problems? The rejection by Comrade Angelina Teny is the right thing. What could have happened if she did not reject it? It would have signified to you and I that there is a government and parliamentarian in place in the national parliament. But as we speak, there is no national parliamentarians in the parliament. there are only one side, which is the SPLM-IG, taking the seats in the parliament, and they are pretending that they are representing the nation. And this is not true. Let me stop there. Let me go to to the point of Angelina Teny. So Angelina Teny said that she cannot go to the she cannot attend the summoning based on logical reason that she has cited. In my perspective, I support the letter of rejection because we do not have a national TNLA. The old IGTNLA should have been dissolved already. And to support this, for those of you that are here to argue for the argument's sake, you have heard the resolution of the IGAD Foreign Affairs Ministries. In one of the resolution, it says, now it has given Salva Kiir up to April the 30th to dissolve the old IGTNLA and make sure by the 30th of April that parliament is dissolved, and then they have another 10 days, okay, to make sure that a new TNLA, as per the agreement, is reconstituted. So now, where are we arguing here that Angelina is wrong? In fact, if anything you guys should do is to appreciate the fact that she's pointing unto us that there are things that are going wrong, and there is part of the peace agreement or a party to the peace agreement that is not implementing the key agendas of the agreement. Because we cannot allow to bypass certain articles in the agreement and pretend things are going to run as normal. Lastly, because I would love to hear from our fellow brothers, including Emmanuel, lastly, one thing we cannot allow, when we went to Juba, we never went there to talk politics as normal. We went there with a core agenda. Our agenda is to implement the signed peace agreement. That is our agenda. So if this agreement is not implemented as is stipulated, I cannot sit here lying to you. There can be no peace agreement with no implementation of the agenda of the agreement. The reaccess should be the supreme to even our transitional national constitution. One gentleman here, and I think it's Benjamin, he even has the balls to come here and tell us there is something called amendment of the SPLM constitution. I don't know about that. Maybe some of you know, but I do not know what is the amendment of the SPLM constitution. Okay? Someone come here and say, SPLM-IO are in Juba to delay the implementation process. These notions cannot be welcome. They are terribly wrong because they come from people that do not understand why the SPLM-IO went to Juba. Because if you do, yeah, I'm just, okay.
Changkuoth, let's be realistic. In this case, what if Angelina goes today and asks for money? She's not going to have the parliament because most of them are all IG. What are you telling us?
She does not ask the current IGTNLA parliament. She's asking the already appointed executives. In the executives, for those of you that do not understand, in the executives, maybe you know how it operated back in the days. Remember, the current executive, according to the peace agreement, they have been subdivided into clusters. Okay? They have been subdivided into clusters. There is economic clusters. There is finance clusters. And these are the people that anybody, including Angelina, is talking to, not to the SPLM TNL, the former RGTNLA.
Anyway, I don't want you to back you with the question, but I will ask you more.
No, no, it's all right. It's all right.
Let's hear from the other participants. Emmanuel,
Yeah.
if you can unmute yourself. I know you have read, probably you have read the topic. And simple question: what clause is Minister citing that she can be summoned to them by the National Assembly? What clause?
First of all, Peter, good evening. Good evening, my dear compatriots. It's good to see Bol is sitting there, Richard Ding is there, Changkuoth is there, and Jibril. And also, let me express my evening greeting to your audience who are watching.
Good morning to you. We are in afternoon.
The topic is quite interesting. It has a legal dimension into it. There's not a definite answer of who is wrong and who is right. But of course, the marriage call agreement, specialized agreement on the revitalized agreement on the resolution of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. It is an inconvenient marriage. It's what Arabs call Zawaj al-Muta. You know, you can describe it as Zawaj al-Muta. So basically, these are inconvenient marriage where people have gone to the hotels. They're not married couple, but they had a fake marriage certificate to show the hotel owner to allow them a room. But yet they're inside the room, they're not agreeing, you know, on what to do. This agreement, if you look at it critically, it is actually a laughing stock, unfortunately to say this. And I question the sanity of those who believe that we still have an agreement. Because within a short period of time, the government and the opposition, I don't want to say only IO, there's other oppositions too, they disagree on provision. They disagree on the fraction of which the state should take what percentage, 0.05, 2.7, 5.5, as if a state can be divided to 0.08, you know. But the irony that we are in today is what the Minister of Defense, the new minister, Madam Angelina, has written. The parliament wrote to her and she rejected. Now, let me look at the issue of legality of the whole, because it also has a legal issue. In the Muslim we are jack of all trades. You know, we want to be experts in everything, even if it's legal and you have no legal ground, sorry, you want to talk about it. You know, we are jack of all trades but masters of none. You know, if you look at this agreement critically, and the decision that was taken by the parliament, you could say arguably that the parliament, in fact, that parliament now in Juba should have already been dissolved. You know, if the agreement was implemented, you know, this parliament shouldn't have been there. But let us look at the reality. In law, we have something called de jure and de facto. When you say something is de jure, it actually is based on the law. You know, but even the de facto situation is based on practice, and all of them are good. The parliament now that you have is not a de jure parliament. It's not having any legal mandate, but it is a de facto parliament. And the government you have also, that government is questionable. Because if you look at what Brother Changkuoth said, and he's right, that the agreement should have been supreme. That is true. The agreement should have been supreme, because the agreement says that within 21 days, this agreement will be incorporated, okay, into the permanent constitution. And in case of conflict between the provisions of the agreement and the constitution, the agreement is supreme. But this did not happen. This did not happen. What does it mean? It means that the agreement the people have signed in Juba and the agreement upon the government was formed is actually illegal, because this agreement has not become part of the constitution. So even his boss, Victoria Moshar, Why will he agree to take an oath? Why will Riek agree to take an oath while the agreement, which is supposed to be a legal basis, has not actually become a legal document? Because it has not yet, been adopted by the parliament for it to become supreme. So what am I trying to say? I know, Peter, you lost, but this is a legal discussion, my dear brother. There's no halfway between it. So if you look at it critically, the government is illegal. And let me give you an example. In 2005, when CPA was signed, I was a member of the SPLM committee that drafted the Constitution of Sudan. So what did we do first? Before Dr. John came to Khartoum, Yom Temene Sharsaba, to take an oath before Bashir, within 21 days, we finished drafting the Sudan new amended constitution, where the CPA becomes supreme in case there's a disagreement between the CPA and the Sudan interim constitution. We took it to Rumbek, to the National Liberation Council. Nina Meshena Rumbek, Gardner National Liberation Council, and it was adopted. Okay? Sudan Parliament also did. Is after that legally done, that is when the agreement is now legal. That's when the CPA now is legal. That is when now the CPA has the provisions that are supreme in case of disagreement with the interim constitution of the Sudan. But Kalamda Inta, Dr. John came to Khartoum to take an oath. Now his oath is legal because he's taking an oath on a constitution to protect that constitution that reflects the CPA.
Well,
let me finish. Don't cut me. Let me finish my train of thought, Ken, please, Peter.
Give me
so what I'm trying to say is the agreement you have today in Juba, it has no legal basis. It's not a de jure. Okay? Riek should not have taken an oath to be a first vice president on a constitution that does not even have his agreement. Angelina, as the Minister of Defense, she should have refused to be the Minister of Defense. If her argument that she's arguing today is correct, as Brother Deng has said. Correct. As Brother Deng has said it. Angelina, she should not have been the Minister of Defense. She should have said that, Jama, I cannot be part of this government yet because my agreement is not yet in the constitution. But the agreement, Angelina took an oath. Okay? Took an oath, which means he's actually recognizing the interim constitution. Now, when the parliament summoned her, she cannot jump out and say, Wallahi Tarif, you guys are illegal. If it's a matter of illegality and a matter of looking at the jure factor, the rule of law, then Angelina also is illegal. Angelina is also illegal. And the government is illegal, all of it. That's the argument we want to put forth. So to tell you the truth, it is a very tricky. But what Angelina should have done is to appear before the parliament anyway. Because the parliament that you have now is a de facto parliament. Okay? Agreement has not been adopted, has not been passed into the constitution. So in that case, you cannot also have a vacuum. Parliament has to operate. Okay? You cannot have a vacuum. So parliament is there. Whether Angelina likes it or not, it's a de facto parliament. Yes, it's not a de jure parliament, but it is a de facto parliament that exists. So legally speaking, looking at these factors, Angelina has no right to object, okay, to this parliament. She may have an argument if the agreement she signed has become part of the constitution and the agreement is supreme, then she has a right not to appear. But as we talk today, that agreement has not yet been adopted. And who will adopt it? If the same parliament is refusing. So in South Sudan, as I told you, the agreement is madness. What you guys are, what's happening in Juba, look at it from a legal point of view, it makes me think that people are gone crazy in South Sudan. Because I cannot see a government being formed and there's no any legal basis for it. This is my early intervention. Peter, I know you lost. Thank you.
Well, whether I am lost or not, the fact remains, Emmanuel, you cannot compare the CPA with the current peace agreement. Because
no,
hold on.
you are not comparing.
I'm giving you I'm giving you the example of how it works legally.
Okay, yeah, you are giving me an example. I understand, but the fact is, it sounds like a comparison because we know all this peace agreement was actually posed on people. Was posted on two people.
That is relevant. That is relevant, Peter. What is relevant here is this: whether it is false or not, you have put your signature.
No,
the government IO in other position, and they say within 21 days that agreement will become part of the constitution, will be amended. It is relevant whether you have been forced or not. You have signed it. You have agreed.
Absolutely, it is not relevant because after all, they are the part of it. And this is the question. Like the question came in: why would minister refuse? After all, they have signed it regardless of what legality we have at this point.
Peter, what these gentlemen have done,
let me say something, Peter.
he answered his question based on our understanding. If you would have come in and just jump in and say right away, Angelina was wrong, you know, people would have attacked him. And that's why he stepped back and bring examples of the CPA so people can understand what should have been done before you take an oath.
Exactly.
Anyway, hang on there. Gabriel Alat, go ahead.
Yes.
Welcome.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Actually, I did not have something a lot to say, but first of all, like to thank Brother Changkuoth and Nasib Emmanuel. He was talk on he answer, and he showed you a bit of a legal example. It's supposed to be done after the peace agreement. So, which is the government is current now. It looks like a compromise government. It's a compromise between IO and IG. Why? If we are going to establish, there is a lot of things that should be removed, according to what I know. The name of, first of all, I have to start with Angelina. The thing I supposed to say, Emmanuel was already informed to you. Illegally is the one that's supposed to be done. Angelina, she should not take a word to reclaim the professor of her ministerial. The ministry, when you are become a minister, already you are agree with what is there, like the assembly, majlis. And let me mix a bit between Arabic and language because we have some people maybe they want to understand it in Arabic too. Is mixing Emmanuel?
Absolutely, go ahead. It's fine.
All right. المشاركة في حكومة وطنية أو حكومة ده حكومة مشاركة بين الطرفين يعني هايو يعني هو أساسا ما بقى في المعارضة بقى شريك بتاع SPLM in government. إذا هم بقى شركاء فالشريك لا يمكن لا يعقله مناقضة الشريك قانونيا في حال ما إنه هو ممثل نسبة الاشتراك المفروض هو أنجلينا to reclaim the first time before the president will dissolve the former government. They're supposed to stay president, please, according to our agreement between IO and SPLM in the government, you have a right to dissolve the National Assembly. Because this is National Assembly was already, we get it currently between the two sides or between the whole government. And reform, nominate their own MPs, send it to the government and then the seat to be amended. From there, يعني أنجلينا إذا كان هنا دوس سمون من حقه على أساس إنه يشارك ويمثل كوزيرة بتاع الدفاع. إذا كان هنا هو أساسا قبل وزارة الدفاع في مجلس القديم، قالوا الحق أن يقبل دعوة بتاع مجلس القديم قبل يعني تجديد المدة الصلاحية بتاع المجلس، أو هل المجلس ودعوة رجوع الانتخابات. فلا يمكن أن تقبل. For example, let me tell you this. ما ممكن تأكل الأكل وترفض الموية ما تشرب، لأن المجلس هي موية اللي بيحلل لك الأكل. هو قبل وزارة الدفاع كيف أن يرفض المجلس الوطني أو مجلس الولاية مجلس الوطني مجلس قومي وهو جزء أساسا بيعمل mobilizing all ministerial على أساس إنه يعملوا ريفورم. فأنا بشوف النقطة دي قانونيا إيمانويل وضعه بما فيها كفاية. نرجع من جانب الثاني عشان أنا ما أطول حديثي دي فترة بسيط في تركيا أداني له. فأنا عايز أسأل brother Changkuoth. The name of IO is announced or is a current name or regarding to the movement, because IO was in opposition and now you become opposition. How would you be call yourself as PLM in opposition? That is my question. So this question is direct to brother Changkuoth.
Anyway, thank you, Gabriel. Changkuoth, let me unmute you so you can respond to Emmanuel and Gabriel as well.
Okay, let me try just to respond directly. Is Comrade Emmanuel still here or no?
Probably it will log back in.
Okay, it's all right. It's okay. What I can say in regard to the statement of our brother Emmanuel Ajawin, I would agree with him in parts. Some of the points that he has made can be noted, and I would agree to some. In regard to the legality part of things, I will not agree. Yes, as we speak now, there are a lot of things that are deemed illegal, based on the fact that there is a consistent pattern from the peace partners in implementing. Some of the peace partners are not implementing, or they do not have the willingness to implement the agreement in letter and spirit. This is something we should note, that unless our peace partners accept to implement the signed agreement in letter and spirit, we will not be able to run an effective government of national unity. It is crucial for all the peace partners or the signatory to the peace agreement to shun away their differences and continue to work in the interest of peace. By so doing, they will be able to eradicate a lot of mischief, a lot of other things that can cause mistrust. So there are things that are illegal, as Comrade Emmanuel mentioned. But let us not always be those people that want to be on the right side all the time, especially when you have a different interest at heart and you want to always come to portray the other people as the worst one for making the wrong choice. First, Brother Peter, let the people of South Sudan understand why we are in this situation today. Let the people of South Sudan also understand that we have had series of peace agreements that never works. We have also had series of cessation of hostilities that never work. Once we understand that, okay, once we understand these things, and we understand the nature of South Sudan politics, then we cannot be able to come here today and say so and so should not have done this. Let me ask this question. If the signed agreement, okay, or let's say if the SPLM-IO signed this agreement as they did, and then they went to Juba as they did, and when it comes to the time of taking an oath, they refused to take an oath. What would you be, you the citizen of South Sudan, would have said about the SPLM-IO? Okay, because remember, the current agreement is not the first agreement. Second, it is not the first time the SPLM-IO went to Juba. Also, it is not the first time the SPLM-IO has highlighted serious misconduct in how the document should be implemented. But yet, the guarantors of the peace agreement and the international community does what? They always come to pressure the SPLM-IO to continue to, to move forward in full implementation of the agreement. And therefore, when the IO went to Juba, led by Dr. Riek Machar, it was not because we wanted to go and mislead the people of South Sudan. We went there with purpose to come and implement the agreement. If the agreement is not going to be implemented in full, let us not talk about what should have been done, in the pre-transitional period, because it has elapsed and we understand why it went that way. Because we are South Sudanese, we know why it went that way. We even understand why, even now as we speak, we know why it is difficult for this agreement to be implemented. That should not be the case of our discussion. The case of our discussion should be primarily on what our leaders need to do to make sure, although there are hurdles, what should they do to iron the hurdles, the differences out, so that they can implement the agreement. If we continue to only focus on what went wrong and what should have been done and should be done, we will not achieve anything. 3 years will go and South Sudanese people will continue to suffer because of mischievous characters among us that always come here to only finger point at other people, and they don't see their own wrongdoing in the Republic of South Sudan. Now, lastly, according to Brother Gabriel, I think it's Gabriel, I said it right? Is it Gabriel, right?
Gabriel, yeah.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Gabriel Alad. Brother Gabriel Alad, as PLM-IO, I can say this, as PLM-IO is a movement, it is not yet a political party that has a legal document which we call a party document where you can go to an election directly. Okay? As PLM-IO was founded in the aftermath of December 2013. And the name came automatically. Okay? When there is a time for us to sit and there is a need to debate about the name and whether we have a different way forward, if we are going to make it a national party, then we will be able to see how we can name it. Okay? We can see how we will name it. And if the name remains as PLM-IO, then it will let us leave it to the future. And if you have followed our peace agreement, in the peace agreement, there was something we call the Arusha agreement, which was gearing the parties or the fractions to go back together. So as of now, let us just continue the way it is, and then the future will dictate where the IO belongs, whether they will be transformed to a national party. If they will be transformed into a national political party. So in conclusion, and then I can give it back to the host, there are a lot of things that have went wrong in the peace process, and also in the current implementation process. But what should we do as a people of South Sudan? Should we just put our hands up and say we have given up? Or we should continue to work and make sure we do whatever it takes to make sure there is peace in the country? So for the likes of individuals who have their parties and they have grievances as per their parties as well, let them understand that IO is not controlled by those parties. IO knows what they are doing. And I always say this, that we went to Juba in the interest of peace. And if this peace is not implemented, the SPLM-IO will maneuver their ways forward. We know how we will maneuver our way forward. We are not going to invite any other party to come and tell us the way forward. We are going to create our ways forward. Thank you, Brother Peter.
Anyway, thank you, Changkuoth.
Is the Peter before you left? Peter, just point for clear to Honorable Changkuoth. Changkuoth,
I'm not horrible
you
yet.
are right. I have to assume you. It doesn't matter. If I wanted to, is my mistake, but it's not a mistake. Let me put the respect first for the position. Something different. But the respect, exactly, yes, the honor, the word of honor is something tightly. All right? But now we are coming to talk in reality. We say the truth to the South Sudanese people. Yep, I'm agree with you because the word you say that we are South Sudanese. Our nation, all right, if our nation was opposing us in that way, why we should accept the current situation until we produce the positive things for our country. For example, let me agree with the way the government is going. Because there is a type of things, Changkuoth, if you are going to build your house, you will not going to start from the roof. You will start from the concrete. All right? We don't want to blame because this is a coalition in the government. That's why was make that mistake. You come from the concrete. After concrete, and then you start arming to build the house. Now we are delaying of the state governments because it is the same things. I cannot say is delayed by the part of the government or SPLM-IG. Is delaying because or something is say representation. Are we going to be in South Sudan to represent the tribe in every single state or every state from the 10 states, or we are going to nominate or to appoint the good person is in the right position. The right person is in a good position, according to your qualification, according to what you are going to deliver it to your community or your people. So these things, I thought, according to what I know, and need you as a two side, as PLM in opposition with SPLM in the government. To look at this point they will return and cause a lot of split. Like what is going now in Juba is look like a gameplay because all of them they know what they're doing, but they are confusing the citizen of South Sudan, according to what I know. So these need the people to be careful. Like you represent your party or your movement and need to take this some point. If they are benefiting us as all South Sudanese, I need you to take it back. So thank you from here. And I will say, I will see you a couple of minutes because I have a job to do, and I will log back again.
Let me just say this before you go.
Because I want to go. Some comment.
Yeah, let me just mention one thing just for 20 seconds. Brother Gabriel, what you have just said is true. There are a lot of things that have gone wrong. But simply because there were mistakes done, or maybe let's say if there was a lot of problem that has happened, and we found ourselves in where we are today, and the SPLM-IO is in Juba as part of the peace agreement to implement the document, we cannot purposely continue to violate the procedures. We cannot continue on purpose to neglect the provision of the agreement. We must make sure everything that we do now is done rightly so that we are not on the same problem again. What has happened has happened. If we were coerced or forced, to sign the agreement, that's okay. It's already a gone case. But what should we do from now to make things right? And for me, we have to make sure we implement the agreement in letter and spirit to correct things. Thank you, brother.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you for joining Lagos State Media. Hopefully, we'll hear from you next time and have a wonderful evening. Then go ahead. But Changkuoth, Anyway, I'll come back to you. I have a question for you.
Come back later. You cannot say then go ahead and then Walai Changkuoth.
No.
Okay. Well, can I go ahead?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Day.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I don't want to talk a lot. To be honest with you, there are some occasion on 95%. I totally always agree with Emmanuel Ajawi. We have to be honest and give credit to people. This peace agreement, when it was signed in Khartoum, I protested it. I said, Ajama, peace agreement, I'm going to Khartoum. Why I said this? Let's look at the percentage allocation to the government, to opposition, to IO. Let's look at that. That alone was a setup of the government and opposition and other parties. What the government did and the other oppositions was like what I'm going to tell you. A long time ago, there was a guy called Yagdit in my village. He was told, Yagdit El Shahar Al Mashir, Pihil Gol Mabur. Here is the lion. So the guy came across and he found the lion. So he was told, don't go that way because there was a lion. He said, no. Okay. There was always not be a lion there. Okay. When he went that way, the lion attacked him. Thanks God he did not die. The lion attacked him. He was almost killed. He got hurt. This is exactly what the government and the opposition did according to the peace agreement. There is no peace agreement anywhere in the world, and I believe people who are listening and people who are politicians, like Manuel Jawin and Changkuoth, there is no peace agreement anywhere in the world that is the existing parliament is dissolved. There is no country in the world. Okay, but if the peace agreement said, okay, now the parliament, the people that were appointed by people, okay, that are going to be dissolved. And then bring a new person and design a new, I don't know how. Now the parties are going to appoint their own to represent the people. Okay? But the people should have elected their own representatives. That alone, the government agreed, the IO agreed, other people agreed. That was wrong. Okay? Number two, to the question of what is going on today. There is no point, Ajama. Izakan Changkuoth girl, as well as IO, they want to implement this peace agreement in letter and spirit. Then there is no way of accepting this part and rejecting this part. And it is true, if the peace agreement had to be signed the way it is, then the ministers should have not been appointed. Under what constitution would you appoint the ministers if you refuse that the existing constitution is not right? Number two, the vice president would have not been appointed. Under what constitution would you be appointed and the constitution is not in the place? Seeing that they accepted whatever existed, it means that they consent. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Okay? So it doesn't make sense that you accepted this point and then you are making another point. You are playing the mind of South Sudanese. Absolutely, this is just a playing. Now, what I'm going to say is, if the IO totally agree that they wanted to implement this peace agreement with a letter and spirit, then there should be no way that are confusing people. Okay? Like before that, he himself even mentioned that the executive members or the ministers, the Minister of Defense, was raising a point, okay, to the ministers. Yes, he made the point to the ministers. But who is going to rectify the request? The assembly. The assembly would want to put that in law that the budget that will be allowed is going to actually to be ratified by the parliament. So it's the same way. So there is no point that for her to accept this and then reject this. So totally, Angelina is wrong in that matter. Okay. So even though she knew that, even she quoted articles. She quoted articles. I read that article as well. But at the same time, in the peace agreement, there are also powers of the TLA. Even there is nowhere it says that to be dissolved. I read the article, it didn't say particularly like that. It says expansion. Okay? People have to be very clear. Let not mislead people.
It is structuring, reinstituting, yes.
Yes. So in this case, that means that the existing LTA or TLA it is function. Since that I accepted under the principle that I'm appointed by the constitution that was not rectified to recognize the entire peace agreement. So why should I refuse? The point is, and I made it. Let me make it clear to politicians: please do not confuse people. Do not confuse people. We need peace in South Sudan. Now you have seen how people are suffering. We need peace. And if the IO needs to implement the peace agreement in letter and spirit, please accept what could make the peace agreement continue rather than to spoil it. Now there's complete defection going this way, defection going this way, this and this and this. Which one is going? Which one to be happening right here? So the citizens are confused. So I totally agree that with Emmanuel Joel and other people who spoke before that, if the IO were not ready to go to Juba because the peace agreement was not signed, then they should have not accepted all these appointments. Secondly, the IGAD is confusing our nation. This is another thing. Why IGAD is confusing our nation? The same IGAD knew that the constitution was not ratified to appoint the people. Okay? When people were appointed, the government was formed, sabab alokum, mafruh. And they knew that everything was not implemented. So is it not a confusion? So in this case, it is we as South Sudan need to sit down, Ajama, and see what can we do to make our citizens not suffer again. But the way I'm seeing this thing going right here, if we cannot be careful, I think we are going to have another chaos. And thank you.
Thank you, Deng. Emmanuel, before you jump in, I would rather return this to Changkuoth to respond to Dr. Deng and the rest who have just left.
All right. I will not say much in response to Deng or Dr. Deng. What I can say here is that all of us are witness to how this peace eventuated. And up to this moment, all of us knows exactly how far we have come. But let us say this, or let me say this. This peace agreement, there were a lot of contested points, prior to signing that document. But as soon as that document was signed, all those contested views or points should no longer be given room. What is it should we give room today? It is the implementation of that document in letter and spirit. Simply because there were a lot of things that probably went wrong prior to signing of that agreement, does not give anybody a room to come and tell us that because there were mistakes done prior to signing of that document, or simply because the document was signed and there were a lot of mistakes done, let us continue messing it up. What we are saying here is, yes, there might have been, a lot of problems or a lot of mistakes done prior to the signing, but all in all, or all after all, it has been signed, and we are bounded by that document. And today, if we are in Juba, suppose, as Comrade Emmanuel said, there was a pre-transitional period where all these things that we are talking about should have been implemented. Unfortunately, and this is where I was saying before, that the nature of our people, we understand. The nature of South Sudanese politics, we understand. During the pre-transitional period, there was lack of trust, and maybe there is lack of willingness from some of the parties, and they do not want to implement it during the pre-transitional period. All these things that we are discussing now should have been done, but at the end of the day, they were not done. The question is, what could we have done? Remember, the IO rejected the formation of the current government I think more than 2 times or 3 times. And we always ask for extension. You know why the SPLM-IO always asked for extension? It was because there were key provisions that were never implemented during the pre-transition period. Yet the people of South Sudan, even the likes of those who are contesting today, they oppose every time the SPLM-IO go to Juba and say we cannot be part of this. If you were to form a government, we are not going to be part of it. Why? Because there are 1, 2, 3 that were not implemented. Yet our people were restless. They never understood the position of IO. In the end, the SPLM-IO was put, to a position where they can no longer extend or ask for extension. And then we accepted, let us go and form the government with hope that the peace partners will implement and be part of the implementation process in letter and spirit. Now, if we have accepted that, and you want to come and say the SPLM-IO is wrong, you guys cannot be right. Lastly, as I've said, and I will continue to say this, whether there was 1, 2, 3 that has been violated before the agreement, that is a past. But as soon as the agreement was signed and Dr. Riek Machar and the IO went to Juba to implement, anybody that do not want to implement this document, you cannot come here and tell us that let us not implement this provision because we have actually violated these things before. You must be held to account. And what we are saying is that the IO is in Juba to implement this document. Whether it was wrong or right decision, it has already happened, it has taken place, and we must implement the document. If anybody is a supporter of SPLM-RG or any other political parties, if you do not agree to the implementation of this agreement, well, go declare it and declare it to the guarantors that we don't want to be part of this agreement. If Salva Kiir and the supporters want to say that let us continue to violate this document and we are not going to be part of it, well, let them go and make it public. But what we will not do from here, we are not going to betray this document, because if we continue to betray this document, we are betraying the people as well. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Let me give this chance to Thon, and I'll come back to you, Manuel, and the rest who will join.
Yeah, Peter, I've waited enough, so let me take the permission from Thon, because it was supposed to be me. You gave it back again to Changkuoth. Now Changkuoth is finished. You want to give it to someone else. So
all
let
right.
me
go ahead.
and then bring someone you want to bring. Yeah, with your permission now, brother, then Thon.
Yeah, no problem at all.
I think this last statement by Changkuoth that will not betray this agreement. Changkuoth, you guys have already betrayed the agreement. You already betrayed.
That is your saying. That is your saying. But go ahead. I will not say anything again. Let me mute myself.
Interrupt me, please.
Yeah.
You have already betrayed the agreement, because the agreement talks about the security arrangement to be in place before the formation of the government. You did not do so. The agreement says that it's supposed to be incorporated into the permanent constitution within 21 days. You went ahead and formed a government. So you already betrayed that Bible you have in your hand. But let us look at what is going on here, my dear compatriots, These things, they're trying to confuse us. But some of us who have been seeing through it, we cannot be confused by either government or the opposition that have signed this agreement. This is not actually a peace agreement, as Brother Deng has stated correctly. I've never seen an agreement in my life that people continue negotiating it, even when it's already in the stage of implementation. They're supposed to be implementing it, but they're even negotiating it. So the agreement is an open-ended agreement. It's still being negotiated, okay? So you cannot call that an agreement. But what do I call it? I want the SPLM-IO to get out of their illusion that they have an agreement. That is only, to me, it's not an agreement. It was a surrender. It was a surrender put in a good way, and then calling it an agreement. If you look at the terms of that agreement, it's a total surrender, Now, the person who have surrendered, they must also be realistic that if I've surrendered, then Gurun Mitagal Gamda, Guruna. You know, because agreement there, you cannot do anything to force the other party. The problem we have is that the SPLM, IO, and the others are under the illusion that they have an agreement, and hence Kir must implement it. Let me tell you why Kir not implemented the agreement, Peter. Any agreement, the security arrangement is the most important issue in any agreement in life, especially peace agreement. The reason why Dr. John Garang, when he was a captain in 1972, and he wrote a letter to the Anyanya 1 negotiating team in Addis Ababa, he said that the Anyanya were on the verge of victory, and hence, if there's any agreement that you reach with the government, Anyanya must maintain its own force. That was the gist of the Torjon letter at that time, 1972. Because the Torjon understood that once the security arrangement collapses, there is no agreement. And true to his word, it only took 10 years for the Addis Ababa agreement to collapse. Because of what? Because security arrangement. All of these guys were observed. They went back. Anyanya 1 was observed in the Sudan National Army. There was nothing again. Nimeri became very strong. Nimeri became arrogant because there's no threat from the Anyanya 1. Okay? So, IO, by going to Juba, without security arrangement, it is already a total surrender. Now, let us look at the second issue that they talk about, that we are there to reform. And we will reform, we have a reform agenda. I tell them, no, they have no reform agenda whatsoever, my dear compatriots. Because how do you create reforms in a country? You create reforms through the parliament or through democratic process where the media is open and you influence the mind. Let's look at the democratic process in the agreement. The parliament will be consisting of 550 MPs. The government and their allies, they have more than 400, which means they have more than 2/3. So how can an opposition bring a change in that kind of parliament? There's no change, okay? Because any voting that takes place in the parliament, the government has already have 2/3, which is 360 something. And they have over 400, which means they have over more than 2/3 they require. So there's no reform in the parliament. Now come to the democratic atmosphere. There's no democratic atmosphere in Juba as we speak today. The state of emergency is still in place. As we speak, there are people in Blue House that have been arrested because of their views. They should have been released by this time because there's a peace agreement. So as I tell you, there's no reforms. Okay? There's no reforms. There's no security. So Fakir said they are react. You can come only to Juba, Bijadena. Don't bring even a pistol of water. He went to Juba without that pistol. So Riyak has surrendered. Okay? The opposition have surrendered to go to Juba. So my brother Changkuoth, please, you guys have to wake up. Kir is not going to implement anything. And there's nothing you guys can do. Okay? There's nothing you can do. Militarily, you have been outchecked. There's nothing. Your command is not defecting day in, day out to Kir. Okay? Politically, you're done. So there's nothing else to do since Kir refused to implement. The only thing you could do is to go and cry like babies to Jima and cry to Igar. That will lie. Kir is not implementing chapter 1. Oh, Kir is not implementing chapter 2. Igar will look at last show. I will talk to Kir. That's what happened. So there's nothing. There's no agreement to be implemented. Okay. Let us get out from this myth. That is an agreement. Agreement in legal terms, a small contract, is the meeting of the minds of the two people who have signed it. Okay. You must have the meeting of mind and the will to implement it. You cannot have an agreement, as Brother Teny is saying, agreement that abolishes the whole parliament that is sitting there. You want to bring a new parliament. That is madness. It has never been seen anywhere with 5 vice presidents. Did you know? So what we are saying basically, and Brother Zod is here, nice seeing you, Zod. This agreement we have been saying it from the ancient times. That the Jama agreement there's no agreement. It's crawling back to Juba, getting positions. Now you're comfortable in your seat. You want to talk about reforms. It's not going to happen. Kir is not going to allow it. If you make any noise in Juba now, you're even weaker than 2016. Jabal Kujur there, Riyadh will not even reach it. You know, look at my house protect them. You will not even reach Kujun. Man, 1,000 even Juba. You know, so there's nothing you can do. You know, you are sitting duck. You know, so the only thing you can do is for Chonko to come and complain and try to make IO as is still relevant. You know, IO is there, IO Kabir, we're going to implement, we're going to, nothing will change, Kir will not change, you know, there's no agreement to be implemented. So what I tell Changkuoth, try to reconsider now how to join Soma. That means that you could be stay out and then you try to reorganize. Forget about revitalized artists.
Emmanuel, I have a personal question for you. Yeah, Changkuoth, hold on a second. You will respond to Emmanuel. Yes, just a second. Emmanuel, so you want Changkuoth to join your summer? Okay. What if the IO and the Kir side, if they call today and say Soma come in and have a piece of cake and be a part of the government so you can reform, what's your position there?
If it was because of piece of cake, we would have been in Juba. Okay? If you want a cake, we would have been in Juba. Nothing prevents us. Okay? Nothing prevents us to be in Juba. Okay? The issue is not a cake. There's no cake to be eaten. Juba is not a big nation. We throw Murphy. We throw now is quarantined by coronavirus. But meal bigger, lesser than a Pepsi. You know? So there's nothing even in Juba to go for. You know, it's better for me to drink my Pepsi here, which is even more expensive than oil. So going to Juba to do what? There's nothing there in Juba.
The question is, so what need to be done then for you if it is not because of piece of cake for your side to join the peace agreement? So
we are not you cannot join something that is dead. What we are saying is this: there's a need to go and address the root causes of the conflict in the country. Okay.
How about we having a peace and then address the root cause without nobody picking up the gun?
Yeah, how can you have peace without addressing the root cause? I don't care.
Yeah, it's a gamble there.
Hold on there.
Peace is based on terms. You agree on terms, you make peace. How can you make peace and then come to root causes? It doesn't make sense to me. So the question is relevant, yeah, Peter.
I came from different part of the touch that you are also the opposite part of it. So that's okay.
You need a lot of work, my brother. Because at the end of the day, you cannot have peace without addressing the root causes. You need to address the root causes first, then you have peace agreement. Okay? So we are saying there are root causes in the country that must be addressed first. Okay? You need to talk about issues of governance. You need to talk about issues of security arrangement. You must talk about accountability. People who have been killed. Those criminals who have killed people, they must be tried in the court.
Emmanuel,
you have to address it. You talk about it.
Emmanuel, let's be realistic here. How will we talk about those when we don't actually have elected people? Everybody's appointed. So how does that become relevant?
No, you're talking about us who are outside. Okay? You do not go inside unless you have an arrangement. Whenever we say we have political issues, that must be addressed. Okay? We have to address and agree on them, like the IO and others. They stay outside and negotiate with the government.
So you guys want a separate peace agreement.
It's becoming a dialogue between me and you. Let's just listen, Shoya. You address the root causes. You seem to be confused, Shoya, Peter. You have to address the root causes of the conflict.
I'm not totally confused.
But let me finish.
Your point. The thing is, you are trying to hijack the situation, so you make a point.
No, I'm not hijacking. You asked me a question, and I'm responding to you. You know, I'm not hijacking anything.
Can I ask Manuel a question?
I finished. You asked me the question, and I'm trying to respond. I'm not hijacking, but you're asking some weird question. You know that you go for peace, and then you can't address the root cause of the conflict. It never works. That's why I asked you what kind of thought you came from. But anyway, I finished. You can give it to other brothers. Deng Thon is there. Dol Legend is there. So let's hear from them.
I know you don't like the question, but I have to. Anyway, that's okay. No worry here. No big deal. It's a part of conversation, and that's okay. Thon, go ahead. Changkuoth, you will respond. You will respond. Hang on there.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, very good. Look, I'm back again. Last week I was Deng Mabie. It is the same me, Deng Thon.
Okay.
I'm
And
always a SPLM party supporter, regardless of the current circumstances, and I will always be remaining like that, unless otherwise things will change in the future. I'm a human, so I don't know what may happen in the next few years. Oh, look, I still have the same problems, and look, SPLA IO, they have a lot of problems. And Ajawin stated clearly last week that SPLM IO are enemies of themselves. That was absolutely right and was correctly articulated by Ajawin. That SPLM IO, I'm a bit confused because I don't know what are they looking for. They want to come in militarily. They want to negotiate peace agreement in Juba while they have signed it already. They're complaining that some clause within the agreement have not been followed, or the SPLM IG are not consistent with it. The reasons why Angelina refused not to go to the parliament, she was summoned to go and explain herself to the parliamentarians of South Sudan. But she failed not to do so. Angelina was wrong. She could have gone to the parliament and argue that you should not call me because of this and that and that. You have not followed, or you have not been consistent with the agreement. She has a right to talk in the parliament. If she have accepted to be a minister, she is entitled to do anything. Otherwise, she could have refused not to be sworn in as a minister for defense. She made the mistakes. And currently, she cannot argue anymore. She cannot complain. After all, SPLA-IO has committed a lot of mistakes and failure to address those mistakes within themselves. How would you claim to be strong militarily, yet your generals have defected to the SPLM party? And you have so many generals that are not accepting Riek anymore. They don't want Riek to be the commander-in-chief, simply because of nepotism and corruption. And still you are arguing, and still you are telling the public that SPLA is getting stronger and stronger. Why would you depend nothing? SPLA-IO is dead, and you should accept your weaknesses. You cannot use words as a defense. Already, where's your military? The military is for the nation, and you claim to have your own military somewhere. Where are they? Where are they located? Where are their containment sites? I don't know why you are arguing for. You should have been in Juba, knowing that you are there physically, and then you start doing the reformation within. The only thing you should have done is to advocate peacefully within South Sudan, within Juba, knowing that your party is failed and no one is backing you up anymore. Look, I affiliated Dr. Deng that in confusions of politicians, the fact is that politicians are always there to confuse people. But more confusion is now being brought in by SPLA IO. So they are neither adhering to their own principles and they don't follow their objectives. They have been rebelling against the government for several times and they have never succeeded. They started in 2013 and claiming that massacre has occurred in Juba without evidence. And then they started again in 2016 and they thought they will take the government by
Brother
force.
Peter.
Yes.
Which is again the wish of the citizen.
Sorry for interjection. Yeah, not you, Dan.
Yep.
Yes, you are not the host, so I have the right to seek attention of the host. Brother Peter.
1 second. Yes.
Brother Peter, you need to pay greater attention on how this guy is speaking and where is he leading us. You need to pay attention to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dan.
IO Changkuoth, you are here to debate. And you honored your SPLA IO. That's the same thing I'm doing as well. I honored SPLA party as the mother of all parties. And if SPLA IO could have not rebelled against the government, our country could have been stable, and our economy could have, could have grown. The country could have prospered. The people could have not suffered. All this suffering was brought by the rebellions of the SPLA IO. And when you talk of the suffering, there's always a journey of anything. In the first place, what went wrong?
Then.
Yeah.
Anyway, I understand your point, but you just make sure you focus on today's topic. These are things that will come down to what was the root cause of this whole thing, and we don't want to go there. It will take us forever. You have already said it short and clear that minister should have gone to the parliament, appeared before the parliament, and argue her case instead of citing a clause that some of us might say, "Oh, at this situation they are not relevant." In other hand, some make sense, but I would rather keep it on today's topic. If you go back there in your narrating, how this suffering came about, would be a setback to the topic. But let's keep it to this topic.
No, the thing is this, Ken, I'm not carrying any guns. I'm simply arguing. And I'm not a threat. And no one will listen to me in Juba. They will not take the arms against the government because I'm talking here. This is a way to tell them that people need to debate instead to take the arms against the civilians. And this is what I'm here for. A debate is a healthy start of anything. And this could have been the case for Angelina to go to the parliament, showing the parliament how to argue in the parliament constructively without, she should have not refused not to go to the parliament. That's one thing. Otherwise, she could have cited the case of COVID-19 instead of clause.
That could have been a good accusation.
She could have argued that no, I'm not going to the parliament simply because of COVID-19. We need to keep social distancing. That could have that could have been very clear instead. So her argument was irrelevant.
Okay.
And if Changkuoth doesn't like that, that's it could have been like that.
Okay. Thank you. Changkuoth, hold second. I know you want to respond so bad, but let me give the largent so you can. Oh, anyway, let me do this before maybe you lose control. Go ahead, Changkuoth, respond. The largent, hold on tight, hang on tight for a second.
No, it's all right. Even if you were to give the Alarjin a chance, I have no problem. But what I am trying to say here, whatever Deng have just spoken, it does not deserve my attention. Why? You know why? Because, you know, when you are arguing with someone who does not understand how things came into being, it makes sense to him. It doesn't make sense to him even. So even if I were to spend 10 minutes talking to him, I only put him under the clouds of, you know, those blackmail individuals that continue to follow someone even if they are wrong. That is all I can say about my brother. The reason I intervened before is because the point that he was leading us to, you should have stopped him. Because if I were to respond to those points now, it would take us to a different direction. Because if someone is talking about how the 2013 happened and accuse the SPLM-IO, these people are the blackmail individuals. So let me forgive him for not knowing what he's saying, what he's doing. But in regard to I will only respond to someone I believe I can debate with and would understand why we are debating. Someone who have no platform to come here and try to take us to some directions, I will not. But I am just disappointed with everything that you have just said. And you allowed him to continue to speak the way he did. I finish. Brother Emmanuel, you have spoken before, and you know this has become a rhetoric from you. Every time you come on a social media, you always, you know, speak 80% or 90% on the SPLM-IO. I wish one day the people of South Sudan would ask you these questions. I'm not asking you to make them a debate, but because it has become, you know, a persistent direction that you always take. Every time you go on a social platform, you always come to make noise. And in fact, I don't just say they noise. You know, it is grievances. You always come just to outpour your grievances that are killing you inside, because you have been left out of the peace agreement. And for you to crawl back to the peace table, you have to blame the peace, you know, those who have signed the peace agreement, so that they maybe one day, one time, you will actually dip one of your legs on the peace table. You yourself, you have just signed an agreement in Rome. I believe it was in February. And here you are talking against peace, whereas you are part now of the signing of Rome. Sometimes I want South Sudanese people to ask you a question, to come and explain to us what was the key agendas you have discussed with the delegation from Juba. Are they luring you to their party, or are they trying to make you stay in Rome and continue to worship and wait for manna? What sort of agreement have you signed in Rome with the government? South Sudanese people have the right to know, but yet they have never asked you those questions. Second, I have said earlier that we have got a lot of problems prior to the signing of the agreement. But if we have passed through those rough times and we have come to a situation where we are in Juba to implement the peace agreement, we cannot continue to violate the peace agreement simply because it will serve the interest of other people that are crying out there. We are continuing to push forward to implement this agreement. Whether it is going to fail, it is IO that will create the way forward. If it passes, then thank God for that. So lastly, Brother Peter, and then you can give it to our brothers that are waiting. This peace agreement, in my view, if it is implemented in letter and spirit, and there is honesty from all the other parties that are signatories to the peace agreement, I believe it can give us a platform to discuss the root causes. It can give us a platform to conduct justice and accountability. It can give us a platform to prepare and give reparation where it's due, because all these agendas are part of this peace agreement. They have chapters in the agreement. For someone to come and tell us, Brother Peter Cohn, that this peace agreement failed from the start and it cannot be implemented, what does this person want us to do? I always ask this question as I finish. I want these mischievous characters among us to come publicly and tell us what is it they want. Do they want the path of peace? If they do, let them join us on the table. If they don't, let them go in the bushes of South Sudan and arm themselves, and let us see them fighting for what they want. As I believe, I've never seen a country that is addressing root causes without justice and accountability. If you address the root causes, that means you are telling us that there will be someone held accountable. If someone is held accountable by addressing the root causes, what sort of justice do we have in South Sudan that will hold these people accountable? As we speak, we haven't got no courts that we can trust. The justice system in South Sudan is defunct. In fact, there is no good justice system that we can trust. Where is the justice system that we can hold people to account? And this give me this conclusion that these people cannot be right. And these people, they are mischievous characters that want to mislead the people of South Sudan. And yet they have the balls to come and say, as PLM-IO are the one misleading the people of South Sudan. They should be ashamed of themselves. Thank you, Brother Peter.
Thank you, Changkuoth. Largin, and mute yourself. Then hang on 1 second. I know you want to ask a question. Ask Emmanuel a question.
Oh, yeah, sure. Even time.
Yes, hello, Peter. How are you?
Good, how are you? Welcome to Legistate Media. I believe you have read the topic.
Yeah, I read it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I wanted to greet you and Brother Changkuoth, Emmanuel Ajawin, Deng Thon, and Dr. Deng Ding. I just want to say hi. My name is Largin, the leader of the UPSS, Union Party of South Sudan. Quickly, I wanted just to point out clearly, because some of you have different argument, and my understanding of South Sudan is always practical, and I wanted the people actually to know what we are talking about here. So, South Sudanese, one thing that you all need to understand is that South Sudanese usually they hear with their eyes, okay? They don't actually hear with their ear, okay? That is one, because they want to see things. You tell them you can talk, they will never. The reason is because if actually we hear with our ear here, nobody will be surprised here with the decision Madam Angelina actually said, or maybe just decided, because no one will be surprised. Like myself, I'm not surprised. because all this thing I have been saying it in day one. We all know about the agreement of 2016 and how it collapsed. So I know very well that Angelina will be actually, there will be a point she will be actually frustrated on this issue. And let me put this one down a little bit there. So what I'm saying is that I'm not surprised with this, okay, with the decision she has taken just recently, because I know this piece was actually going to collapse, and I believe Madam Angelina knows. Salva Kiir Mayardit, he knows. Riek Machar knows this. They all know that this piece is not a working piece. And most of you actually knew, actually, it was also a sort of kind of pressure. So we all know how it came about. Now, I believe, well, some of you argue whether she's right or she's wrong. Well, for me, I think Angelina is right here. We can give her a credit here. Why? Is because, if there is two reasons here, okay? One, I believe she is serving, she felt actually the kind of the stuff that would have happened in the parliament if she was going there.
Well,
and I believe
we don't want to go to a personal belief, but we want actually to find the legality of this, of a refusal. Does she have a legal right?
Yes, okay. that is what I'm. Yes, well, one, she's right. Why? Is because she wanted to point out that they are sitting in Juba. There are issues. There are issues there that are actually the peace is going to collapse. There is actually, I think before even this decision, she mentioned that there was no money for the army. If you were paying, if we were following what is going on. So in Bill Pam now in his office, he's kind of frustrated with a lot of things that is not going through. No money now for the army, no money for the ministry. That was one. And then there is also a kind of intimidation by the warlord from Bill Pam. Okay. Now is that they summon her to come to the parliament. And because she's a woman, of course, she has a feeling that if she go to that parliament in a meeting, probably maybe a war of J1 may have erupted. That is what you need to understand. You don't, because you are very far, you don't get this thing, you don't get that pressure. But I believe, she has a legality here. She wanted to serve the country. She wanted not to go and confront. You remember the war of 2016 happened because Riek was advised from Jabal, and he was told by the IO, by the IO Legislative Assembly and all the IO general not to go to the meeting because of those pressures that you have had. So whenever there is a pressure, I don't think that people go and confront, So the decision she took, I believe it is right, it is legal, and it is something that needs to be understood. My point is here, okay? We know this piece is going to collapse from point one, okay? So this is the sign that South Sudanese people should be learning now. This is a sign that is almost going to collapse. But there are some general now. You remember most of the general from IO, a lot of them now are defecting. And Kiri is busy buying them. He's thinking now they are his supporters. We know that, okay? And now there are also general, the warlord of SPLA-IG in Bielfarm. They are sitting there, okay? Now they are uniting with this general from IO, and they want Angelina to be the starting problem. They already there. There is a problem, but now it's not ignited. So it want to be ignited. So all those generals, they are pushing things. They are pushing her. They are doing that a lot of things daily for her to be the problem. Okay.
Anyway, Dolarian, thank you for being here on Lake State Media. I believe not. I personally, I believe yours is all assumption and belief of things that could happen, but there is no legal mean you have cited here. Anyway, hang on there.
Let me finish very quick. You remember Makwilwe told us, if I cited, he told us very clear in so many meetings in Addis Ababa and in Khartoum that General Salva Kiir and Young Machar will never work together. If we have here, we have understand that. So when these people are in Juba, what you need to understand is that they always targeting each other. They wanted to eliminate each other. Riek want to eliminate Kiir. Kiir wanted to eliminate Riek. That is how it works. Okay, that is the way how they are working. So in all, there is no peace. We know that. No peace. This peace is going to collapse. Whatever Madam Angelina is saying, these are the signs to me. My understanding of 2016 peace and other peace agreement that has failed. This peace, this is a clear sign that this peace is going to collapse soon. I was thinking maybe it will be collapsed. My programming is that it will collapse when the new army is deployed. But now I have just learned now it will collapse even the deployment of the new army. IO, they are in training. We know that. So basically, maybe in about 1 month, about 2 months, they might be deployed in Juba. But what I'm seeing now is that the peace even will be collapsed before they are deployed. So my brother, my message to you is this, okay? Let us not, if we really need peace, we really need peace in our discussion. And Emmanuel Ajewin actually pointed out very clear that in any peace, we should have what we call a root cause of the problem. And I have been saying that when the root cause is not addressed, and I have been telling people that our root cause of our war is tribalism. Tribalism is the one that should be put on the table, not the SPLM problem. But our people, because we have a hatred, we want to support people because it's from your tribe, it's from my cousin, from my what. That is what hunting us down. And it will never finish until we address tribalism as the main problem in our country. Is when we can have a genuine peace for everybody. So I'm not going far. I'm just urging everybody to stop supporting uncle. Stop supporting those SPLM because they are your uncle, or they may be those looters of our oil money because they are from your tribe. It will never take you anywhere, and you call it peace. What we are having now, we need to go ahead and address tribalism. When we address tribalism, we will never have any war in our country, and we will enjoy the peace that you want in your heart. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Dalarjan. Then go ahead, and then I will let Emmanuel respond.
Before then, because I thought you'll give me a chance to respond to Changkuoth. He has meant a lot of things. So before I forget, then just please give me a chance. Let me respond to him before I forget.
Okay, go ahead.
Brother Changkuoth, you always come as an SPLMIO and try to portray yourself how big SPLMIO is, and you're trying to have this condescending attitude. It's not going to work, my dear brother. You're not going to fool anybody here. SPLMIO Bitak is corrupt, is incompetent, with an incompetent leader that is visionless, that will not take South Sudan anywhere. So whether you call our political rhetoric noises or whatever, it doesn't matter. You do respond to it. Those noises make you sleepless. You can be an elephant, but mosquito can keep you up, all day, all night. You wouldn't sleep, So this empty rhetoric that you continue telling us is not going to help you. People know what SPLMIO is, and whether Ajewin 80% of his time, the topic, I'm discussing the topic, and the topic is about Angelina. Does Angelina come from Kanu Party or come from NAS? He come from SPLMIO. So therefore, if I'm critiquing Angelina, you have to critique also SPLMIO. But it tells you also the level of political understanding and maturity many of us have. Some of you, I'm not saying all of us, they just came to Facebook. They're just finding politics. They don't bury it. So Nasta Bugwan, Bugtu, you're mixing people from university with primary school, in terms of politics. It's not going to be the same level. So I will forgive you for your empty political rhetoric that does not have any substance. Let us look at the issues you're raising. You're telling us that we are criticizing because we are left out. If you wanted to be part of this government, we would have been there. We decided to be out because there's root cause of conflict that have not been addressed. There's nothing that is so attractive. That agreement is too ugly, is too deformed to be reformed. You know, there's nothing that makes us, you know, wish that we would want to go in. To go in to do what? You think people are your peers like you and the rest of you die tribal hearts of Riek Machar? No, we're not there for positions, my dear brothers. Only people who are like you, who are tribal hearts, you know, are those who believe in fascistic tribal ideology of Nuerism, you know, who thinks that Riek has to continue being supported regardless of what. And then you're trying to criticize others too. You're doing the same thing. Why are you supporting Riek? It's just why there's nothing much you're offering. Riek is undefendable. So don't try to wear a suit and put tie and you come here try to tell us you're a nationalist. No, you're a diehard core tribalist, you know, and a chauvinist. Unfortunately, tribal chauvinist and tribal fascist, you know. But you come to the issue that you're raising. You're telling us that, oh, what is Soma up to? We have made an agreement in Rome. Sometimes I don't know where you have done your schooling. I don't know if it's where. I don't want to say places because you will jam here. You know. Sometimes if you call yourself a politician, the first thing you do, please read. Try to read some documents so that you could comprehend what is going on.
Emmanuel.
Let me finish.
I know you will finish.
Let me finish. Don't stop me, please.
No, Emmanuel, 1 second. It's just a second. Please. I don't want you gentlemen to make this, to take it personal.
You let him to talk. You did not stop him. So don't try to correct me now when it's me. So let me finish. I'm going to the substance.
No. I'm responding to all of you guys.
He finished. You did not stop him. So it doesn't make sense when I'm talking.
If we call ourselves a name, the debate is not going to be.
I'm not calling names. He only talked about us, the mischievous characters. I don't know if you understand English. You call us mischievous characters.
It doesn't matter whether I understand or I don't. Here and it's not acceptable.
So let me finish. So coming to the issue of the agreement, okay? In Rome, you don't sign any agreement in Rome. Okay. What we sign in Rome is a cessation of hostility. Let Changkuoth get it correctly now. What we have signed is not an agreement. Changkuoth, listen to me and open your mind and your ears.
Keep going, my brother, mischievous character. Just keep going.
We have not signed an agreement. We have signed something called cessation of hostility.
I have said that you are a mischievous character. Keep going.
Hostilities is actually creating a conducive environment. It's not an agreement. So I don't know where you went to school to. So it's called cessation of hostilities. Cessation of hostilities means it's creating a conducive environment. There's no agreement yet between us and the government. Okay? We are yet to go to the phase where we'll discuss the root causes. You know, time will come when we'll discuss the root cause of the conflict with the government. Government has agreed. We have agreed. It's a matter of rescheduling it after the COVID-19. You know, so we have not signed an agreement. So don't come here and mislead people. You know. But let me say this. Let me conclude by saying this. Of course, it's getting late here. You know, the SPLM-IO cannot continue crying. In fact, they have surrendered to Juba. They have crawled back to Juba. You know, what they have done, they should actually accept what Kir tells them what to do, what not to do, because they have no power whatsoever. You know, to check the decision of Kir. Even their boss now, who is the vice president, cannot even leave. He was told that he get listen for kak. I go take it show you. You know, he can't even leave. You know, so what we are saying, SPLM-IO cannot bring reforms. SPLM-IO is an incompetent, intellectually bankrupt movement that is only supported by tribal diehards, you know, and some of the Ngundeng adopted children. This is how it is, you know. But this movement cannot whatsoever bring the democratic reform people of South Sudan want. They have surrendered, and this is what I'm saying. IO need to understand one thing: there's nothing to be implemented because you're not even a partner. You're a very weak partner in agreement. Very weak, you know. You cannot force Kir to do anything. The only thing you could do is to cry and go to GMAC or go to IGAD. But Kir can say, no, I won't do anything. And there's nothing you can do, you know, because you're weak. Militarily, you have nowhere to exist. There's no any South Sudan capital town that you captured. Even Pagag, your headquarters, was captured. You were just in cantonment side, you know. And even in cantonment side now, Galulekum, there's no training, you know. So IO is just a political fiction, is a military fiction. You know, IO is done. I will not even talk any longer about IO because IO is finished. You know, it's actually done as a political organization. There's nothing to talk about. They're done. So what I'm trying to say, brother, and I conclude, Peter, because it's getting late to me here. Your question, people when they come, they should give some understanding of how legal matters are done. You know, you cannot just say, well, Angelina is right, and then you don't quote how Angelina is right. You know, that's an argument that does not take us anywhere. Angelina is wrong because the parliament that she's against or she does not recognize is the parliament that has not yet, you know, been dissolved. Okay, the fact that Angelina took an oath, you know, on a constitution that does not even include her agreement, the agreement that she signed, you know, that means also she's an illegal minister. Because what basis did she take an oath on the constitution while the agreement is not even there in the constitution? Those are the facts that we are talking about. It's a de facto. Yes, it's not a de jure. The parliament is not a de jure, but it is a de facto situation. You know, it is a parliament that is still operating until it is dissolved. So when you're being summoned by such a parliament, you cannot say, well, parliament is illegitimate, I don't recognize it. While you yourself, you took an oath. Why did you take an oath on a constitution that is not even yet, does not even have your agreement? Yeah, so they cannot come here and waste our time, you know, talk day and night, you know, about how right they are, while we know they are just joppies who went back to Juba because they're political opportunists and they just wanted to go to get positions, you know. And I hope my brother Young Changkuoth will get some ambassadorial position soon. Then he will be quiet. Thank you, brother Peter, and I wish you good night.
You too. Changkuoth, just 1 second. Then you have a question for Emmanuel that you wanted to ask earlier.
Well, I'm going to bypass this question because it will take us all the way to tomorrow. Okay, and I hope next time when you have another topic, I would love really to ask Emmanuel Jawin several questions, but not now. I'm going to bypass it. The second point I'm going to go to very quickly is the good news is. And thank you very much for hosting us very far place like this. The good news is that now we are very far from each other. Believe me or not, if anyone was hosted somewhere in South Sudan, believe me, they would be fighting already.
It would have been a small room.
Okay? And this is how we have problem in our country. Okay, you take for the whole thing to a personal level, and that is a big problem. My final advice is there is what you call political professionalism. A political professionalism is including when you use the language that is not offensive. When you're speaking and you assume yourself to be a politician, make sure that your language is clear, okay, and not offensive. That's one thing that. And I don't care whether you are a lawyer or whether you are not a lawyer, whether you are a politician or you are a president, as long as you are representing yourself as a politician, please make sure that your language is completely non-offensive. Okay, I have been observing this one actually between Brother Changkuoth and Emmanuel. They always preach each other using tribal label, using community, and this is wrong.
Then also you have to be fair. You have to be fair. When someone is using the word, you see the character, and when someone is clear, you cannot cry foul. It's normal.
Listen. Our tongues are also inching like yours is inching. Don't talk too much like we don't talk too much. We talk too much, yes. We're giving you time, you talk, you want to sell everybody. Our tongues are please represent yourself as a politician, a good politician. I'm betting you. So,
anyway,
what I'm going to say here is advice to you as a host. Try to control people out of the topic. If somebody goes out of the topic, like just 1 second, say, hey, please, Deng, stop right there. Our topic is this one. What's your point? If that person doesn't want to contribute it, let him go.
That's true.
Let it go. There might be rules. We talk about the rules. We talk about constitution in South Sudan. How, if we don't implement such small things like this, how will we implement things like that very heavy in South Sudan? Okay? That's why I say we don't have politics in South Sudan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Deng. Changkuoth, I know you want to respond so bad, but let me give a chance to Nuri and Bull for
That's
a second.
right.
Anyway, I will excuse myself because it's late for me here.
Absolutely.
Guys, a good debate.
Thank you.
No. Okay. Before you give Nuri, all right, Brother Peter.
Yeah.
What Dr. Deng have just mentioned is very critical. And to give you an example is what has just happened before our eyes, not with what Emmanuel have said. You should have, I believe you have taken note in the last shows that you have done. Every time someone comes here and vomit whatever he want to vomit out and leave the show early, prematurely, because he does not want to be confronted, I believe it is impolitic. It is something not good. It is bad. Okay, and this is not the first time. Emmanuel Ajawin have done this in a lot of shows. He always come and vomit, and then he doesn't want to clean his own vomits, and he will run away. Last week he did that on your show, and he has done it again today. He did it on Brother Edward's show, and he has done it time and time again. If he is of such a character, then I believe, I would suggest he should not debate with people. Let him go on his personal page and advocate whatever he wanted to advocate, because there is no, it is not good for all these people that you see here sitting and listening to him, and then when it is a time for them to speak and he has to listen, he will leave. And these are the things that I always point out, that these mischievous characters, we have to note them.
Anyway, thank you.
It is not good. It is not good.
Yeah. Thank you, Changkuoth. Nuri, I know you have read the topic. So the question is simple. Is military right that she have a legal mean? And if so, how? If she's not, why?
Okay. I want to appreciate viewers and listeners and speakers who spoke before I was on the air here. Now, this is a very interesting. This is a very important topic of discussion. I think what I would like to do now, if we don't mind, is that I want to base my argument or my comment based on the fact that why was she requested to appear before the national legislative legislature or legislators who gathered to call her? We also have to remember there were not all legislators, people who make laws, who were present. But what was the one or two reasons why she was summoned to appear before the lawmakers who called her? Now, I don't want to take it from my own perspective, but I want to base my comment based on the content that in which she was summoned. Did anybody recall that? Maybe I did not recall why she was summoned. I have listened to people citing the importance of the revitalized peace agreement and the one branch that has been formed, and the fact that she took the oath. But I'm not satisfied with regard to specifically mention why was she summoned by the lawmakers in Juba.
Can I answer that question, if you don't mind?
Sure, go ahead.
You can go ahead, yes.
Thank you. Based on the information that I read, the letter was sent to her. It was the problem that's actually going on at the border. Okay, people came in through the border, and is a part of the army. Okay, so she was summoned on the occasion of COVID-19 to come and explain why people are still coming into the country. Okay, so that was what she was summoned for, and that is her job. The national, when people come from the border from another country into another country, it is the Minister of Defense to deal with those issues, and that was the reason she was actually summoned to come to explain. And if so, what would she need it? Okay, to go and help convert the COVID-19. That's what the letter said.
Okay, so that was the only reason she was summoned for, or
yes,
there was other reason?
That's it. It's just a matter of security at the border.
Okay,
As the Minister of Defense, and it is in the Constitution.
Okay. Okay. So this is very interesting because if this thing is not being handled very carefully, then the lawmakers may even make a serious case against whether or not the power sharing government may be an appropriate government to serve the people of South Sudan, especially during this crisis, because the power sharing government is having ministers. And if the power sharing government is having ministers based on the peace agreement legalities, then the lawmakers who may be one-sided, who may not be lawmakers of the 550, may actually begin to think twice whether or not they're having ministers who would be answerable to them. If these ministers are not answerable to them, then they may be asking themselves whether or not they can still be considered lawmakers and act in the interest of the people within the Republic of South Sudan. And who should be responsible? Who should be responsible for delay for making ministers not to be answerable to the legislators or to the lawmakers? This is something that we need to consider. But I would want to refer people to who is supposed to be responsible for the border. Is it the custom that is supposed to be responsible for the border, or is it the state? Is it the state that is supposed to be responsible for the border, or is it the executive that is supposed to be responsible for the border?
Nuri, Nuri, may I answer you briefly on that?
Yes, because you can go ahead, no problem.
Yes, basically, according to my understanding. Okay.
Look, hold on 1 second. Does it matter though?
Okay,
but
good.
The question is,
the
question is, beside the legitimate of the parliament. So does it matter from here?
Okay, good. That's very good one. Now, I would not be easy on Minister of Defense on this one. If the Minister of Defense doesn't recognize the existing lawmakers that have not been made from the 550 according to the peace agreement, then where does it start? Does it start from the lawmakers, or does it start from the presidency? Because we have seen that the presidency or the president has not been changed. The president is still a president. I think it would be a good idea. It would be a reasonable thing to do to identify which area in which you will not be cooperating with, because it is not in line with the modalities or the metric of the peace agreement. Is it the area of the lawmakers, or is it area of the presidency, or in this case president, or is it which area? Where should it begin to say this one is not recognizable because it has not been implemented as far as peace agreement is concerned? They revitalized peace agreement. If they start to work with the president, then why would they not be working with the lawmakers? I think the reasonable thing to do is to actually turn down what the president would be saying to the ministers, because the president has not been removed, and the president has been bringing the witnessing the oath before them. I would want to ask Brother Simon Changkuoth, why would Brother Changkuoth, why would ministers, especially defense minister, be comfortable working with the president, knowing that the president has not been changed, and not be comfortable citing that the lawmakers who are calling her are not legitimate lawmakers, and yet she seemed to be confirming that the president is a legitimate president, and that's why she allowed the president to witness the oath that she was sworn in. I'm getting confused here.
Okay, Nuri, it would be better for me to jump in so that I can actually reinforce your presentation.
I think Billy, look, I think Brother Billy,
yes.
look, there's something that is going to confuse people here.
Billy, look, you have to stop your attitude, man. You cannot just be coming in and confuse the people that have been waiting.
I'm here to reinforce you. Just calm down a little bit. I'm here to reinforce you.
So I'm calming down, but I'm just asking because this is the second time you have done this. You cannot be coming and join us.
I'm here to reinforce you. Don't just start arguing. Just listen to me first.
Listen, Brother Billy. What I'm trying to say is that you have done this last week. You came in and you wanted to say something. Again, today you are coming in, you want to say something. I have no problem with you speaking, but what I'm saying is you need to respect those who have been on the podium for long.
Anyway, thank you, Changkuoth. I got him. I will give him a time. Look, hold on. When your time comes, don't worry.
Now, I do not want to lose my line of questioning here. Is if the lawmakers have not been recognized by the defense minister and said these lawmakers, they're not legitimate lawmakers, why would the defense minister be allowing the president to witness the oath that confirm her to be the defense minister? Where is this binary understanding is coming from? Because the agreement recognize certain the executive as the in the eyes of the IO and not recognize the lawmakers when in fact we did not have a new president. We still have the same president.
Okay. Let me just answer your question because I believe the host might have given another person a chance. Although I had some stuff to respond to the previous speaker, but let me just answer your question and then I can give it back to the host. The fact that you were not here at the start when I responded to the same question asked by the host, I've said that Comrade Angelina Teny is right. Although you might not agree with it, she's right. The reason she's being right is that in the current peace agreement, there are provisions that were supposed to be implemented during the pre-transitional period. And these provisions, they never been implemented because of the situation that we have known, because all of us knows exactly sorry, someone is trying to call me. Yes, when we went to Juba, hold on, someone tried to call me and now it's interfere with the, hold on guys, it interfere with the volume of my device. So let me try to get the volume back.
That's okay, take your time. We can hear you loud and clear. So.
Yeah, you can hear me, but because someone tried to call me, I cannot hear you properly. Your voices are kind of muted halfway.
Okay. Maybe we are listening.
Hold on.
Peter, be mindful of time. You are running out of time. We have like 34 minutes. So you have like 26 minutes left. Are you going to distribute it this time?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you properly now. Okay, so what I was going to say in answer to my brother Nuri.
let me just say this so that you can understand what I understand, Brother Changkuoth, and then from there you can focus on the premises of the question. I understand that the parliament, according to the agreement, is supposed to be 550. All right, there are a specific seat of over 300 that would be given to the SPLM IG, and over 100 that would be given to the IO, and the rest would go to the other parties. I think we're clear on that now. Is this the reason that he's saying that there is no a new body of lawmakers or MPs which have been which has been put in place, and therefore, because it is not put in place, it is not a correct thing for the current existing lawmakers that would be seen as lawmakers from the previous government that is not part of the peace agreement. It is the reason that she's saying until we have parliament that has everybody, all the parties that have signed peace agreement, i.e. the IO and the IG, she will never appear before these lawmakers because the peace agreement is not implemented at that specific the legislature level. Until the peace agreement is implemented at the legislature level, she will not be appearing. So I understand that. Now, my question is, part of the question is that is she focusing only on the lawmakers, or is she focusing only on the president, constitutional president, who is President Salva? Because president now is the boss to the defense minister. Do we agree on that? If that's the case, why would she be allowing the president to witness an oath which confirm her to be Minister of Defense?
You are
yes,
done?
Peter, it would be okay if I just put my reaction, and then after that, Changkuoth can answer all the questions of the presenters here.
Look, hold on one second. Okay. I have a couple people on lobby. Then, Dr. Deng, if you have a last word, so that I can take you to lobby and bring one more person up.
Okay. Well, my last word is to say, as a suggestion, next time when you host, please put down the principles of following the topic, and if somebody out of it, please kick him out or her. So no compromise. We have to leave.
I agree.
Okay?
Yeah, let's stick to the topic.
Number two, offensive languages. If somebody uses offensive languages, telling somebody as personal or a community, please kick him or her out, because these are the things that actually molding our community now to get into issues. Okay. Right. Then number three, also timing. If somebody speaks like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, please don't give that person time until it's done. Number four, discussion should not be between the 2 or 3 people. I have been seeing this a lot now when people come to right here, and I don't mean to be too figure. I mean to you, Brother Changkuoth. It's always between you and Emmanuel Jawad, which actually ended up, in a chaos. Okay. So I would just really advise you to make sure you control your forum so that it be quite professional, because we really need to understand our matters. And if we don't understand the matters, then we can't implement anything. Okay. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. I hope it's going to be okay, and I hope your answers to everybody, Mr. Changkuoth, would be great.
Thank you very much, Dr. Deng Ding.
Thank you, Dr.
Good to see you for the first time.
Thank you, Dr. Deng. The point you have taken. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, do I have to respond to Nuri, or you have a different way forward?
Hold on a second. I have to figure the time here. I have only exactly
40 minutes. You have 20 minutes left then.
I have exactly.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Peter. Can you divide the time, please?
Yes, I'm trying to figure that out. So
let's jump in with Miyakol, and then from there, Changkuoth can respond lastly.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Changkuoth, hang on there. You have responded. Probably some of the question might be repeating.
That's all right. That's all right.
Let me hang on tight.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
Go ahead. 3 minutes, please. And I will let Michael and Agwengdeng jump in as well.
Who, me?
Yeah, go
And is it my?
Go ahead, look. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Peter, for hosting us again today. And thank you for always volunteering yourself, volunteering your time and effort to be here with us for the whole night. And I want to thank the contributors as well for always being passionate and always willing to come and share with us their own perspective. And always, Changkuoth, you always welcome. And Emmanuel Jawin too. And Comrade Nouri is always here. He's a regular contributor to Lagos State Media. And good to see you today, Miyakol, to be here with us. So let us all join together and let's interact and discuss our issues. So basically, I would like to be specific with the topic. I like to stick to the topic in most cases, so I don't stray off the topic. So my initial reaction is that the reason why Angelina Teny, Honorable Angelina Teny, was actually summoned by the National Legislative Assembly of South Sudan is because she has to be answerable to the fact that she's actually crossing line where she does not have the constitutional mandate to be able to speak on behalf of the other ministries. Because in recent weeks or this week alone, you have seen how she has been jumping from the Ministry of Defense to the Ministry of Health, trying to address the issues of the health, trying to address the issues of the internal security. Like the question Nouri was actually asking earlier, whether it is a responsibility of the Ministry of Defense to do with something to do with the internal or, you know, people coming in and people going out. That is not the job of the military. That is not true. And that's why I was asking you earlier to jump in so that I can correct you on that. I believe it is a responsibility, it is a constitutional responsibility of the Ministry of Interior or Ministry of National Security to control the migration, the immigration and migration, people coming in, people going out. And these are the two departments that could actually be responsible about who is coming in and who is going out. If that were the case, that Honorable Angelina Teny has actually overstepped her responsibility to go and try to address issues to do with health matters as well as the issues of interior affairs, then she overstepped. She overstepped her responsibility. And we have seen in recent weeks how she's trying to be so dramatic in trying to jump into other ministerial affairs in that case. So that is the reason I suspect why she was actually being summoned. But the question we have to debate now is why she's actually trying to boycott the National Legislative Assembly. That is the question we need to ask ourselves as South Sudanese, as why she's actually defying the legal summoning of the National Legislative Assembly. Because any ministry, including the president, is answerable to National Legislative Assembly in that case. So when any minister is being asked or required to come in and testify before the National Legislative Assembly, he or she must be answerable to that call, because it is something that is actually required by the Constitution. So Angelina Teny should not defy the National Legislative Assembly. And that raises a question of her activities. The recent activities in which he is actually engaging in is something that is raising eyebrows to all of us. And, you know, we didn't make any initial reaction to that, but that is a clear violation of the ministerial obligation or responsibilities. So that is what I suspect, or that's what I believe, why the National Legislative Assembly is actually summoning her, so that she can come and testify as why she's actually overstepping her responsibility, because she's only assigned to focus on the Ministry of Defense affairs. So we have seen her in the few days ago talking about the health matters, talking about people coming in and out. That's not the responsibility of defense. The expectation of the Ministry of Defense is to make sure any external or internal aggression is something that she has to be answerable to. So in this case, anything to do with the illegal people coming in is not the responsibility of the Ministry of Defense, as my honorable brother Deng Ding just tried to answer earlier, that it is a responsibility of the Minister of Defense. That's not true. It is a responsibility of the Minister of Interior, maybe Minister of National Security, to look into those matters. So I don't understand as to why the question now we have to debate is the reason why is Angelina Teny actually boycotting the National Legislative Assembly, and that is a question all of us need to have so that it can be answered either by Angelina herself or by Angelina or by her political party as to why she's actually boycotting. Okay, she's trying to say, in other words, according to my understanding, we are here to analyze anyway, the reason why she's trying to boycott the National Legislative Assembly is simply because she's trying to say that National Legislative Assembly is not inclusive. That means it's not consisting of the members of the SPLM-IO.
Look,
yes,
this is what I have been asking everybody. Regardless of what the other opinion is on or why, does she have a legal mean to do so?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. So she's going to be held accountable for contempting the National Legislative Assembly for that. And that is up to the National Legislative Assembly leadership to make sure they bring her to accountability about this unconstitutional behavior. Because listen, let me finish.
No, I'm coming there. To add you to
so Angelina Teny, if Angelina Teny, I understand. I'm trying to give her benefit of doubt here by saying that the reason why she's trying to justify that she considered this chamber.
You can talk about it.
Listen, Changkuoth, I'm coming there. The reason why she's trying to say it is legitimate to stand before this chamber is because the National Legislative Assembly does not concede the members of the SPLM-IO. Is it? I think Changkuoth can agree with me on that. That could be the motive there. But if that is the case, I can say she may be right. But she contradicting herself in the case that she already started working. If she understands that the national, the government of national unity is not being formed, she shouldn't have start, in her own ministry in starting to do her own work. She should have waited until all the department concerned, according to the peace provision, should have been formed until the full government has been formed. So somebody who should be still acting as the defense minister right now should be Honorable General Kwalmanyang, should still be active right now. If Angelina was actually referring to the fact that the national unity has not been formed in completion, then she should have waited until the full government is being formed, and she shouldn't have started working in the Ministry of Defense. From there, she's actually contradicting herself. So therefore, if she started working already, she took her oath already, and she started working in her own department, she should have waited until the National Legislative Assembly has been formed. Unfortunately, they have stolen the formation of the National Legislative Assembly. So I'm saying that Honorable Angelina Teny has violated and contempt the National Legislative Assembly, and she has to be answerable to that. So it is up to the leadership of the National Legislative Assembly to hold her accountable for contempting the National Legislative Assembly. And that is what I believe should be done.
Thank you, Luke.
So she's absolutely wrong.
Changkuoth, I have two more. Michael, 3 minutes. I'm running out of time. Go ahead, Michael, your turn. So the question is simple. Does the minister have a legality here?
She has no legitimacy whatsoever to boycott and contempt the National Legislative Assembly. So she's absolutely wrong.
Okay, Nuri, let's hear from the others.
Hello.
Hang on then, 1 second.
And Peter, I was actually coming in to reinforce Changkuoth too, because he doesn't know how to handle Emmanuel Ajawin. So maybe I can give him a tip how to deal with Emmanuel Ajawin.
It is time for
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Keep going.
Okay. Hang on, guys. Michael, I can't hear you. Can anybody hear Michael?
Who is Michael? You mean
Michael here?
Michael, we can hear you. We can't hear Michael at all, unless he might have muted himself.
No, he's not muted. I can see here.
He might have muted
My-
himself on the other end. Maybe not you.
No, if he did, I will know, but he hasn't.
Yeah, we don't hear him. And maybe if you can hear him, let him say something.
We cannot hear him, sir.
Yeah, his
Okay,
voice is
he will
not
come
there.
back. Then go ahead.
How is it?
He's not muted. I can see here.
Can you guys hear me
Okay.
now?
On the other end, maybe not.
Yeah, we can hear him now.
It is time for me, Mr.
Can you guys hear me?
Kennedy.
Okay, hold on, then. One
Yeah, we
second.
can hear you, Michael. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. First of all, you just said 3 minutes. I've been watching for 3
Yes. Do
hours.
you hear me, Kennedy?
I've been watching for 3 hours and 42 minutes and 40 seconds. And you give me 3 minutes, there is no problem. You are the host. I don't want to discuss that. First of all, I want to greet all the viewers and everybody who's watching here and all the brothers. I want to greet you in the name of our great country, which is South Sudan. And I want to greet you in the name of peace. Even though some other people, they don't call it a peace, but for me, I call it a victim. I call it a peace. It's a good peace. There is no better peace as long as our people are not dying. I will call it a peace. And also, I want to pray for everybody who is sick with the coronavirus, and I pray to God that the whole world should be free from coronavirus.
Thank you.
And I ask God that coronavirus should be actually an element that should unite the people and trying to see that when we have a common enemy, we should come together and fight it, and we forget about our differences.
All humanity is united against coronavirus.
First of all, there is some other stuff that some other statements that have been said here, and I don't want people of South Sudan to be misled by lies and emotional statements. I don't want that to be done for my people. Let me introduce myself first. Maybe a lot of people, you don't know me. Maybe you know just Miyakol Mayom, but you don't know who is Miyakol Mayom. I am Miyakol Arom the Dudi, the Mayom the Kwanyanango, was born in Bantu in 1972. Went to school in Bantu and completed my school in Khartoum. I am originally from Farian. That's where my people came from Ruang State. And I am not a politician. My first job in my life, I was a businessman, and then I became a soldier, an instructor, become first one of the Ashara Wail, the first people in the class. In Khartoum, I became a man in the training in the police academy, if you understand that term. And I became Rajil Field Masker. So that's my first job. I work in the government. And then I work in the government. I work by oil fields in Bantu and all these oil fields groups, Bantu. And then I came until I came to Egypt as a refugee, and I came to America, and I joined the military here in America. Why I say this to you, I want to tell you that I am not affiliated to any political entity or any political party or any political movement or any political arena, whatsoever you call them, even though some IO who are emotional, because I was calling for the release of Dr. Riek Machar, they get emotional and they thought maybe I was an IO, and they were totally wrong because I was not an IO, because there is no, unless IO the magnetism, if IO is a magnetic, that magnetism will just take whatever it is that it can take with it, it will take it. IO is magnetic. Maybe there are people who join the IO emotionally for their own reasons. But that's not the point. I just want to tell you that I am an angry person. As I'm talking to you, I am an angry person, a South Sudanese citizen who is a victim of any political differences in South Sudan since 1991. I was victimized simply. My father was killed and my people were killed because where they're coming from, and because of the leader of the movement happened to come from the tribe that I am belong to, and my father, that has nothing to do, even geographically, has nothing to do with the leader of the movement, because my father is not from Jungule State, and he's not even from Upper Nile State, he's from Ruang State, or from even where the leader of the defection of 1991 coming from Bantu, which is
unity state, whereby we suppose as the ruling people of the state, ruling state. When I say ruling state, I mean Abiemnom and Fariang. We should not be a victim of our brothers in unity state, and we always are victimized. And that's why I am an angry person, and I'm advocate of that. And that's what God called me, because I was the one who was going to take arm to defend my people who are innocent, who are killed. But I listened to the voice of God who called me and said, Miyakol, you cannot help your people with a weapon. What your people need is a fear of God, and fear of God is the beginning of knowledge, but the fool despises the wisdom. And I do know a lot of people, they despise the wisdom in South Sudan. That's why they took arm and they killed innocent people. I listened to the voice of God, and when that understanding came to me, because what I was going to do, I was going to revenge in a unity state, because my father was killed in unity state, and what was in my mind that my father was killed by Nuer people. But when understanding came to me, I said, no, God taught me a very good lesson, that it's not ever a Nuer. Nuer is a nation. Nuer is not a tribe. Nuer is a nation. If my father was killed by the Nuer in Bantu, there are so many Nuer tribes in Bantu. We have Bull, we have Jikun, we have Adok, where is actually Victoria Machar coming from. We have Jagai, and we have Lake. So I have to ask myself, what kind of Nuer who killed
Brother Peter.
Yes.
Is that still part of introduction?
Why my brother always
let him finish his time.
We
run out of time.
I have nothing with you.
We always is calling you that you are a reactor. That's why you
Brother,
are a reactor, and
Brother
that's why
Miyako,
IO is the movement of reactors.
Brother Miyako, I have nothing wrong against you, brother.
You've been doing this for years. You always react. Why you asking? I've been watching for 3 hours and 42 minutes. I did not even want to join.
Which I appreciate, but I just want you. I have nothing against you,
Let's
brother
come back.
Miyako.
Let Miyako finish his introduction, please.
Yes,
and then we come back for another show. The time is over, Miyako. Just finish your
Yes, I
introduction.
answer you. It's a part of introduction. It's my own introduction. If it is good or bad, it is my own introduction. Let me introduce myself to you. Yes, it's a part of introduction. And then I refuse to take arm.
That will change. That will change the content of the show.
Because you looking, because when you guys, because the people of South Sudan, because you want to come and talk about the surface, you don't deep down. Because I heard all of you talking about the root cause, and you never address what is the root cause. Everybody saying root cause, and you never address what is the root cause of the problem of South Sudan. You never address it. If I ask every one of you what is the root cause, nobody want to answer what is the root cause.
But brother Miyako, I have nothing against you, but I just want you to talk about the topic.
Let me continue. Don't prove Emmanuel Ajawin right now. You are proving Emmanuel Ajawin right.
Miyako, the time is over. The time is over. We are coming back for a new show.
Please give me my chance. If I listen to everybody, please give me my chance and let me finish.
Michael,
I don't want you to prove Emmanuel Ajawin right, because I and Emmanuel Ajawin, we have any personal problems. Okay, let me continue, please, if I would.
Time is over.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I refuse, because I am not a politician. If IO can come and talk, NDM can come and talk, and Soma can come and talk, a civilian victim of all your disagreements as a people of South Sudan, because you are fighting to come and serve me as a South Sudanese. But all of you, I don't see any services that you can deliver to me. That's why I want to address. I am the one who will choose who can serve me as a South Sudanese. I am a South Sudanese. I'm not
Miyako, time is over. Let's come back for another show. It's 1 minute. Yeah, we're coming back. We're coming back. We just want to let you know. We are watching the time now. Thank you. Come back, okay? Remember to come back so you can come and finish your introduction.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, Ban Peter, I think time is over. Let's come back. Changkuoth, I'm here to reinforce you, brother.
Right on. Thank you.
It is time to put Emmanuel Ajawin onto the spotlight.
We still got about 7 minutes, so I don't know where you get the time, Billy. Look.
No, it's 1 minute here. That's what my phone is telling me.
Guys, hold on one
Am
second.
I wrong?
hold on, everyone. Hold on 1 second. Let Michael introduce himself in introduction. I will start a new show so he can go to the topic when we come back.
Thank you. Do you know what, Ustaz Madid? I want to thank you. And
that's Peter Kenny. It's not Madid.
Oh, Ustaz Peter.
It's all
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Ustaz Peter Malish. I want to thank you again because you are the host. And that's what I've been seeing even before I continue my introduction. I heard Dr. Deng was giving you advices. And I agree with Dr. Deng. I agree with him totally 100%. But I disagree with him at the same time. If you want to give you an advices, you are the one who is hosting the show. You know how to host your show. I am not here to come and tell you how to do it, to be honest with you. But I see everybody, and this is what I've been suffering from as a show host. I'm a host. I have my own show. Everybody will come and tell you how to do it, but I cannot come to you with Brother Peter how to do it. And now, even when my brother Luke told me that we are going to do, I want you, please. I want the host to be the one who's taking the responsibility. To be honest.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. ونقول لسيد البيت نقول تعمل كده تعمل كده أي زول لما نكون في بيتك بعدين لما نكون في بيتك do it in the way that you want to do it. To be honest, معلش, this is not an advice. If I want to give an advice to you, my brother Peter, I will call you on a messenger privately. لكن قدام الناس كده I will not do it. This is your house. You do it in the way that you like to do it, and I am actually good with it. My introduction will continue, and if you're running out of the time, we can. If you want me to continue or you want to end it, so you can.
Start off.
If you want to end it to recap whatever happened, and then we come back again, I am here. There's no problem. Tomorrow is Saturday. There's no school for children. I am here all day long.
Okay. Everyone, I'm gonna give you everyone. You take a break, take a water, do what you can do for 3 minutes, and come back. And
thank you.
I will see you guys on second segment, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.